What is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. My stream deck is acting funny, so that was probably a pretty messy intro there. Sorry about that. A little weird, but hey, here we are, I guess. Hi. Oh, well, there we go. That was weird. That was very weird. Is this thing doing it? It is working. I know it's working. It's just the... so I have this thing. I like for the music to slowly, gradually drop in volume. So I have it set up to where it's a multi-action in the Stream Deck. And you can basically do... I don't know, have one button do a series of 100 things if you want. So I have it basically do with a very, very like 1 or 2 millisecond, 5 millisecond delay, bring down the volume by like, I don't know, 2-3%. So just like, it's supposed to come down. It didn't do that. It didn't transition over correctly to the scene it's supposed to. It acted up, it acted a little weird. Hey, what? Oh, hold on. Hold on. I got you. I got you. Hold on. Sorry. There you go, Twitch. There you go. All right. Sorry about that. Man, what a mess. I don't know. It's just like that was also something with the the setup that I have going on, which is a crazy setup, to be fair. And I'll explain it to you guys again, just in case. We see you on YouTube. Awesome. I thought I read TV for some reason. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. The music is a little quiet there. Bring that up. That's about where I like it. Okay, over in Twitch side, what is up, Bone Shock? How's it going? Peter, welcome in. Is this the one and only famous Braythorn? Well, there is only one of me. I don't know about the famous part. So the former, yes. The latter, I don't know. But it is me. Hope that helps. Over in YouTube land, what is going on? Steve says, hello, hi Bray, hello friends. Big thank you to whoever gifted me a membership last stream. I missed it, but it was a nice prize to wake up to. There was someone who gifted, Steve, they gifted 120 memberships in YouTube. I was yelling names out because you know how I always acknowledge that stuff as, you know, as I should. I was shouting out names for, I don't know, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. 5 minutes. It was, I guess I'm exaggerating. Anyways, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, you got caught up in that. Robert Fix It, welcome in. How's it going, Braythorn Matchmaker? You always say hi to my microphone. I still don't know how I feel about it. But it's fine. I mean, hey, I love this thing too. So I get you. Let's see. So Alice, welcome. Happy to see you. How's it going? And Kaiser Platypus, welcome. Let me get my windows going over here. There we go. That is not what I meant to do. I hope you guys are doing well, though. It's we're more than halfway through the week, and we're getting towards the weekend, and I hope that's exciting for you. Oh, session expired. Sure. All right. Picking up where we were. Looks like we got pretty much caught up. The only person that had to leave last time and didn't end up getting help was Cerveza Crystal, or Cerveza Crystal, because it was they have a beer company, or work at a beer company. I forgot which one it was, but yeah. OMG, I planned to watch it. Now I have to. It was crazy. And this was not someone who followed the stream, followed the YouTube channel, subscribed to it, and nothing. They were just looking to be generous to anyone streaming on YouTube. They stumbled upon us, but when I explained what I do and they sort of saw some of it, they got into it, and that was pretty cool because they're also a computer person. Just started season 19 of Grey's Anatomy. Good Lord. How many seasons are there of Grey's Anatomy? That show's been running for what, like 20 years or something? In the house I'm staying in has a CRT. Oh, that's awesome. Now I'm using as a monitor for my Mac. I wonder how the Mac is handling that. Bergie5. Holla. Did you mean to say hola? There's only one L in that in case you wanted to say hello in Spanish. But also, holla. Holla. Yeah, that's cool too. Yeah, so we're here. We're ready to do this thing. I'm hoping to help out more people. We did 4 builds. Was it 4? 5. We did 5 builds on Tuesday. 5. So that was pretty great. What did I miss, y'all? Gifted for Brayathorn. Were you Gotham guy? I don't see the green on the name, but yeah, there was someone who gifted 50 and then 50 and then 20 on Tuesday's stream. YouTube memberships. It was crazy. Had they been on the Twitch side of things, I would have dropped a VIP for that brand new. Well, I mean, if it's someone brand new, you still want to like, even if they're generous, you want to know that they're like chill like that, you know, that they're cool. But generally, something like that can actually, I mean, it goes a lot. Yeah, as you can imagine, it goes a long way to supporting what I do. So like, I mean, you can give VIP, you can also take it away if they turn out to be, you know, kind of a bag of douche, but you never know. I have a TB4 to TB2 to VGA to RCA cables. That's amazing. Was that already there, or did you bring that with you? Because I know you said you're going to be there for a month. I don't know if I ever heard you say what you thought of my idea. Was it a month you were going to stay there? My idea to just like, you know how the NZXT rental thing took advantage of a lot of people. This would be you taking advantage of them, and just rent a PC for a month and then send it back, because you're out of town you're in that one spot for a month. Kind of makes sense. But yep, cloud gaming is the other option. I just got it at Micro Center this morning. Oh, okay. Yeah, they have all the weird stuff there when it comes to connecting things. Funny, a few weeks ago on a Tuesday, we had no builds. I know. It was crazy. This is a weird time right now. I almost don't know. Like, we're ramping up to get back to SI Weekly, which is, of course, going to be... I need to redo the intro, actually, if I'm going to make it PC Gateway. But it's like, how do I start? There has been so much that has happened. So how do I, like, I'm trying to figure it out. This is why, like, I never script any of that stuff. Whenever I'm doing SI Weekly, like, if an idea comes to me for an episode, like, I'll save it for the next one or whatever. But usually it's just like, all right, let's look around, see what's going on, or if there's any particular news or any hardware coming out. But usually it's just me being like, all right, I haven't looked at this SI or this one. Let's check them out. Or let's look at this budget, best PCs at this budget or whatever. But for this, it's like, man, how do I even start the conversation back up? It's crazy. Am I doing an unboxing today? No, that's probably going to be on Saturday. We're probably doing that Saturday. I have a lot of cleanup to do in here still. And I wasn't able to get around to it yesterday or today like I was supposed to. So, yeah. Observer of Thoughts, thank you for the lurk. I appreciate you. Christopher Crawford, welcome. How's it going? So, yeah, right now we actually have a lot more active... well, I don't know about active, but we have a lot more YouTube members than we have before. So I should probably do like a YouTube member only community post just to sort of leverage that and say hi to everybody. Because that was pretty cool. That was super cool. And it's funny because I was like, okay, I'm going to end stream 30 minutes later because I started 30 minutes later. And I'd usually try to go like that unless things are really slow during the stream and no one's getting help. But I went on extra long last time because we got into a build that I really wanted to complete. We did some really fun ones. It was 100% Micro Center though. Like, and that's what it's been. It's been 95% Micro Center builds that we've been doing. And what am I supposed to do? Like, tell them not to do the thing at Micro Center? I mean, that's tough. That is tough to do. And I know that there's a lot of SIs out there, smaller SIs, that are sort of struggling right now. It may be that, I don't know. Like, I don't want to take a break on Micro Center builds. I can't choose that for you guys. You start asking Micro Center for a commission. No. I mean, it's just, y'all got to remember something. A lot of the SIs I work with, I can talk like directly to the people and this and that. And even if it's a bigger SI, I can work directly with their marketing people and all that stuff. Micro Center, I know one dude, and we've barely talked. And it's also a big corporation thing. They're getting to be to that point. They've done some stuff that's been kind of like keeping all the 7600Xs and 5600Xs for themselves. That sucked. That sucked for the rest of the country and for those abroad. Well, I mean, in other than in North America, aside from like the USA, like there was other places you could get it if you were outside the US. But here in the US, you could only get it at Micro Center. They should not be able to, unless they're ubiquitous around the country, like Best Buy, they shouldn't be able to have exclusivity on hardware. Like, that's not cool. And also, how many times have I yelled about their builder and their compatibility filter being terrible? Right now, you can set up a PC over there with a motherboard that has PCIe Gen 5 and a CPU that supports it and all that stuff, and you still have to turn off the compatibility filter on GPUs, or you can't see like any 50 series. It sucks. And I've forgotten that a couple times. I had to have Alucard be like, hey, don't forget to turn off that compatibility filter, because I was like, they got no GPUs over here. What the hell? What's up, Triple B? Are you saying if I call off Saturday, I can look forward to an extra long Saturday stream? Welp, done. I'm off now. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm hoping to do it to where I do the unboxing earlier in the day so that we can do a longer session of gaming afterwards and just hang out after that. That'd be cool. What's up, Zintech? Also, Rurutu, how's it going? I'm Micro Center. You're only 1,000 stores short of a Best Buy. Hey, there you go. But also, I don't know if I said hi to Bergie. I'm pretty sure I did, but hi. And I don't know. Yeah, we're man, Micro Center. I guess I need to reach back out to them. It's just, it's I'm a little sheepish about it. You got to understand, they work with people pretty much who have 6 figures or more in subscriber count. And I was supposed to, like, had I continued on my normal trajectory and not screwed things up, due to some things out of my control and some things that were very much in my control, I'd probably be at 6-figure subscriber count. I plateaued myself on that on YouTube. Regardless of what legitimate sort of things I had going on that caused that. So going back and being like, hey guys, you know, it's me still about, you know, I've only gone up about, you know, 25% subscribers since a couple of years ago when I first met you, but hey, still want to work with me. I'm not a growing content creator right now. I'm just a content creator right now. I'm pretty stagnant on that. Nothing much, just ate dinner. Nice. Thought the deal with the 7600X that those were silicon dies that were not quite up to specs for. There was a limited amount. Bergie, that's the thing, is that's a lot of silicon. That's kind of how it trickles down, unless you have a different die on a GPU. So yeah. Basically, you'll see where there are like 2 GPUs that share the same die. And then, but it's like, wait, why is this one so scaled down? Well, you know, it's usually because of the yield. And if it's like not capable of being a 5090, then it's a 5080 or whatever. So that's the same thing that happens with, like, that's why you have a, you know, 5700X 3D or whatever, or like 5600X 3D, I should say. Braxton, what's going on? How are you? Hope everything's good. Yeah, doing good. And also Dark Force 2008. I think I said hi and thank you for the lurk, but if I didn't, I'm doing it now. But yeah, glad to see you guys. Also, if you've never, if you have a good Mexican restaurant near you, and you haven't tried the lemonade or limonada or agua fresca limonada, you got to try it. It's the best lemonade you're going to have. What are your thoughts on Night Dive Studios? I don't know who that is. My thought is, I wonder who that is. Should I know? I don't really follow game development that much. I did have, what is it called? What are they called? I did have one studio that I had heard of that reached out to me. Let me look up who that was. Telltale reached out to me to promote one of their games, but it's not really what I do. What game are they wanting me to? I think they wanted me to just stream a game or sponsor a video, or I'm like, this video is sponsored by this game. What game was it? Braythorn X Telltale Games. Let's collab. The Wolf Among Us 2. No, it's The Wolf Among Us 2. So it's like a sequel. I mean, I'd never heard of the first one, but I have heard of some of their games. So, oh, they do a lot of remasters and remakes of older games. You're talking about Night Dive. Got it. Kaiser Platypus. I wish I lived near a micro center, but I live in Tennessee, and the closest to me is the Atlanta Center. I'm not going to Atlanta. It's a bit of a drive, yeah. You doing all right, man, with all the floods that have been happening in your state? I'm not close to them. I'm probably 2.5 hours away from where the flooding was. 2 or 3 hours, actually. It's in the hill country near San Antonio. But I do... no, it's okay. We talked about it a little bit last time. I used to go to summer camp in that area. A lot of summer camps there in the hill country. Beautiful place. And my summer camp was right off the Guadalupe River. So I just think about that and think about what it was like, you know, the kids that were around me, the friends I made, stuff like that, and imagine what it would have been like if that had happened while I was there. It's crazy. Zelmov, thank you for the lurk and the dancing dino. I'm in the same state, and yes, I agree. You got a micro center in Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, and also in Indianapolis. Yeah, they mentioned the Atlanta one, yeah. My closest micro center is a 5-minute walk, Peter. Okay, that's nice. That is nice. When I go to TwitchCon, and inevitably, I'm probably going to plan out some content. I don't know if it's going to be with SkyTech or someone else in Ontario or City of Industry. When I do, I'll usually do that around TwitchCon because I'm there in San Diego anyway. So then I drive up to the LA area and I just like do stuff there, or like the City of Industry area, do stuff, something or other with the SI. But if I'm going to do something like that, hell, maybe I'll reach out to Jay, see if he wants to do anything, because we got to hang out last TwitchCon and it was a lot of fun. I would really, and he actually said, guys, Jay told me, he was like, I would actually love to have you come by the set, but we're moving. Like they were moving to the new studio. If you go back and you look at the date that the videos happened about the move, you'll see it was around TwitchCon. And he was like, I would love to have you out to the studio, but that's why we're moving. Like the one we have now, not good for having people visit, but the next one is gonna be for that. So you know what? I'm gonna do it, guys. I've always been a little bit too like. Whenever I get to know a content creator, if it's not in person, I always psych myself out about contacting them. And I was actually talking to Dr. Ian Cuttress about this at Computex. I was like, you know, I'm sorry I haven't reached out, like, since it's just I always second guess myself about and feel like I'm bothering people. I'm a super social person most of the time. I still want my time to myself sometimes. And I want to get, I'm an ambivert. But when I'm switched on for social stuff, I'm like way out there, you know? And, but man, when like there's nothing, when I'm in this room and I'm not hanging out with you guys, this room, the imposter syndrome is so thick you could cut it with a knife. So thinking about reaching out to people who I like look up to and being like, hey, you know, let's chat or let's hang out or whatever. I always tell myself like, nah, they're too busy, dude. You're not, you know, like they got better stuff to do. Like they post videos like every day and you're here like, oh, it's been months. Hi. But no, Ian was just like, well, just talk to me on Discord, like, whatever, you know? And then after Computex, he started asking me questions about my gear setup. And I'm just like, okay, he's such a cool dude. like there's a, of course he's a British guy and from the UK there, and he's got like, he's so dry in a lot of his coverage in his videos, very professional. He is a professional journalist. Like that is his trade. But when I'm hanging out with him, he's super fun and super dry humor. It's fantastic. He's a great guy. That is dangerous. Do I need a capture card to stream? Braxton, if you're trying to use a non-USB webcam, if you're trying to use a mirrorless camera like this one here, then yes. However, if you want to use one like my Osmo Pocket 3 that I use for like tracking, then, oh, that was 9 days ago. Maybe I should reach out to Telltale Games. I was just looking one last time at my email. If you want to use a camera like this one or any USB camera, then you don't need a capture card for that. So, I mean, you can stream completely without a capture card. If you're just streaming gaming on your PC and you have a USB webcam, yeah, no capture card needed. When I build a streaming PC for somebody, though, I will always at least make sure it is capable of accommodating a capture card down the line in case they want to upgrade to that. Dr. Potato charges thousands for his time, and rightfully so. He's a paragon in his field, in the field of of silicon, like the global silicon market and advancements in the technology behind it. Yeah, he was huge at in Anantech, and he's a consultant now. Like they ask him questions. It's when I did, so you guys might have seen that I did an interview with him for the 100th episode of SI Weekly when I went to LTX 2023, and I had to basically bring him down a few levels to the consumer level because he's on the enterprise level. He's on the global level when it comes to the markets and what his coverage is about, and covering new advancements in silicon production and usage, and technologies. Just so I actually found it super interesting to get his take on a lot of things. And it turns out like his own PC was kind of really old and he needed an upgrade. And I'm like, hey, I can help you with that. And he's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a funny guy. Next studio will have an Airbnb and laser tag. I could see Jay doing that. When is Peter going to do custom builds for people? Peter, you do live. You are currently very close to Micro Center, unless you meant it's a Micro Center that's like the where you live and not the one where you're staying right now. I think it's the one where you're staying right now. Not Dive Studio did the remaster of Dark Forces 1 and a remake of System Shock 1 and remastered of System Shock 1 and 2. They're very good remakes and remasters. I don't even want to get into like the distinction between the two, but there is one. Zintech, what would you call the what is it? Oh my god, I'm drawing freaking blank. Oblivion, remaster or remake? Because it has what they named it, but some people have been like, "Yo, this isn't a blank; it's a blank." Cool. So what is it for? I'll Google it. Never mind. What is a capture card for? It's for capturing a video source external from your PC. So if it's like a PlayStation 5 or a mirrorless camera that has HDMI out, something like that. Or for me, I'll capture a PC that I'm testing. So the capture card, if it's just for a single thing, like there's two different kinds of capture cards. Okay, there's one that captures something and does pass through. Okay, so you don't normally have your PS5 and it would be connected to your TV instead, or your monitor, right? Instead, you connect the HDMI from the PS5 into the capture card, and that has an HDMI in. It also has an HDMI out. That goes to your monitor or TV, and there's usually very little latency, if any, for high quality capture cards. But as it goes through the capture card, it's also capturing that footage for your PC to either show on your stream or record. Whatever. You can record gameplay, you can show your gameplay, make it a part of your stream, whatever. Then there's the other kind of capture card that is strictly for input, like a mirrorless camera. So I have both in this PC. I have something called a CamLink Pro, which can capture up to, it has 4K 30 HDMI inputs. So I can have up to 4 mirrorless cameras, which I'll have usually 2 or 3 hooked up to it when I'm doing an unboxing for a top-down camera, my face cam, different things like that. Most streamers don't need anything near that kind of setup. But for me, being a tech channel, yeah, I need that. Then my other one is an Avery Media 4K 2.1. And that is one of the latest and greatest HDMI 2.1 capture cards that can do 4K 144. Or is it 4K 120? Something like that. So that answer was for you, Braxton. I hope you heard all of that. So now, if you're here and you're looking for help with getting a PC or like a pre-built PC, or you need help putting together a parts list for your first DIY build or your first one in a while, then you need to fill out the form. Then you'll see Stream Elements has just posted in Twitch chat that there is a link to that form after that paragraph where it says want help getting the right PC, yada yada. And if you're looking for help and you're watching on YouTube, just go to the description. It's the first link in the description. Click that, fill out the form, and let's get it moving. So far, I do not have anyone new on the list waiting for help. Now, if you have filled out the form before and you're just sitting in chat waiting for me to call out your name, that's not going to happen. You need to let me know that you're here and, more importantly, that you're on the list. If you're watching on Twitch, that's super easy. If you followed the Twitch channel, which is free, you have the emote available to you that just says, I'm on the list. Put that in chat. And if you're watching on YouTube and you're on the list waiting for help and you haven't mentioned anything, said, hey, I'm here, I'm on the list or whatever, which nobody has, you need to do that just by typing @BrayerThorn, I'm on the list. And there you go. Otherwise, I don't know, we'll play some video games or something. I don't know what's going on right now. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Gotcha, thanks, lol. I don't need one. I thought you might not. Xeno the Cyberfwagon, what's going on? How you doing? We are just currently hanging out a little bit, chilling. There's not a lot going on. We are just basically past the intro portion where we're just I mean, I guess we're still in it technically. And we're just sort of wanting to see if anybody is going to be coming in to get some assistance. So we helped 5 people last time. I'm hoping for something similar tonight, but we're off to a slow start. That's okay. How are you doing? Man, YouTube chat just like stopped. Are y'all okay? Am I still live on YouTube? It says I am. I'm doing a different retailer now for my PC build. Much better all around though. Oh yeah? Did I help you with yours? Nope. Did you want me to maybe make a suggestion for you? You did? Maybe under a different name then. Did you, let me see. What name did you put it under? So I can see what I recommended to you. And maybe you can tell me why you think that the other one's not as good. So I'll know who it is and why you think so. Not Xeno. I see Xenon. That might have been it, but it doesn't look like... Oh, you had a PC part picker list, maybe. Here. Was this you right here? On June 26th? Under Xenon? It was a budget of between $500 to $1,000. And you had a PC part picker list. But this doesn't look like... Yeah, okay. So I guess maybe I didn't end up helping you. Unless you put a different name in. Yeah, the only XEN is Xenon. And I didn't end up helping them out. Once I finish helping somebody, they generally will get it in green. But if you want to, I'd love to help you out. What builder are you going? Wait, did you say retailer? I need some deets. You need to give me the deets. Sailor, what's going on? Welcome. Slowly raises up out of the ocean. Hey, everybody. Sinks back beneath the waves to hunt giant squid. All right, best of luck. What's the best pre-built PC I could buy for competitive high-level gaming? Like, what kind of PC do pro gamers use? My budget is $4,000 to $6,000. All right, Maxwell Post, you came in at a great time because currently I'm not helping somebody at the moment, but I do use a process for this. So you gave me some good info already, but I do need a little bit more. So what you do is take a look at the description of the stream, and the first thing there says, if you're looking for help, please fill out this form. It's going to ask you more questions so that you have to give me more information so I make a better recommendation to you. So go ahead and do that, and as soon as the form is in, you'll be first, unless someone is currently filling one out. The only thing I'll say is you don't need to feel rushed. Don't worry, we're still very early in the stream. But that sounds like a fun build, and I'd love to help you with that. Being in New Zealand, I'm looking at Computer Lounge now. Is it just a store called Computer Lounge? Like a builder? I'm on this side too. Hello, YouTube. Kaiser Platypus, thank you for watching on both channels. That does help me out. I appreciate that. You might want to mute one of the streams, though, so you don't have to hear, like, out of sync talking, because it is delayed, I think, about 15 seconds on YouTube. That is no small amount of seconds. That's a lot of time. They do build, but I'm going to self-build myself. Okay. Well, I mean, have you already paid for this thing? Like, is it already done? Or do you want me to help you with at least a parts list or something? This is what I do. And, you know, if you're already here, and we don't have a bunch of people waiting on the list right now, I'd love to help you out. And it is free. There is no charge for it. And I can go... I don't know if PC Part Picker has a... Hold on. Let me see if they have a New Zealand. They do. Look at that. So I can actually shop New Zealand for your parts. But you give me the budget, what you're going to use it for, and I'll put together a min-maxed, maxed out PC for the budget you have. I'm pretty confident in most of it. It's just the case I'm questioning. Well, do you already have a PC part picker list or something like that done? Because the thing is, here's the thing. It's good if you're pretty confident in it, but this is like, I live in this space where I'm constantly scrutinizing the current meta for PCs for like what is the best for this use case, for that use case. I dig into the actual details of a motherboard to make sure it's right for what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. And it's, again, like, it could just be that I look at it and I'm just like, no, that looks right for what you're doing. But there are some things that are very easily overlooked that I found. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to be here anyway, I figure just throw your list into a PC part picker list, and you can actually do this. Check this out. When you're filling out the form, the last question here, or one of the last questions, or the last question, yeah, it has a thing where you can actually enter text. It says, are you interested in getting your PC from a specific company? If so, please list below. If you have a link to a PC part picker list, please share it here so that I get the list link in the form that's filled out. So yeah, let's take a look. I mean, honestly, you just call it a sanity check. Like, you feel pretty confident. That's awesome to hear. Like, that's good. But you know, it couldn't hurt to have someone else take a quick look at it, a fresh pair of eyes to take a look at it and see, like, oh, this could be tweaked, or like, actually right now, if you're going, you know, AMD, you know, 9000 series Ryzen, you want to have this type of RAM frequency and cache latency to optimize it, yada, yada, yada. That's the kind of stuff that I obsess over, so you don't have to. Also, I know cases pretty well, so we can figure that out too. It's really sad to think about how many people who want to stream and really love the Y series of cases from height, and I have to shoot them down on that. And I have to help them out with that. Actually, it's like, oh, if you ever want to put a full size PCIe card in there, you're looking at the wrong case. And if you're streaming, you should always consider yourself as someone who might need that. Even if you're just starting out, you might get into it, like, get very serious about it. And if you're trying to put in a good capture card later on, you're gonna have to do a case swap. if you want to be able to do that. If you want an internal capture card or you need more USB ports or whatever. So it just sucks. It sucks. I really hope that they do come through with what they were talking about doing. Maxwell Post, I hope that you're filling out that form so we can get you helped out. I do know some great SIs that'll be really good options for putting together a pro-level PC. But also, I do want to mention a budget swing from 4 to 6,000 is crazy. Like, just say 6,000, up to 6,000. That's all you got to do. Oh, sweet. All right, looks like Zeno, you're going to be first. I already know you're here, so you're good. All right, let's take a look at what this is going to be for here. So, yeah, New Zealand, 3,000 to 3,500. Now, so you did 30. Okay, now for New Zealand, I'll probably have to translate it right back. But this does help me put into context how current PC hardware fits into it, at least in the market here. It's a good way for me to start that way. So gaming and streaming, got it. And you're building it yourself, as you mentioned. So let's take a look at your parts list here. So you're going to be gaming at 1440p. Let me ask you a quick question, and I'm probably going to include this in the next form. But what kinds of games are you looking to stream? Are you looking at doing like really competitive, high frame rate games? Are you looking at AAA titles? What are some of the titles that you're looking forward to playing on this PC, if I may ask? As I'm looking at your list, let me know. Look at this. Look at this. Optimized. DDR5 6000. I'm zoomed in. DDR5 6000 CL30. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. We'll get to the motherboard. I already know. I'm certain that I'm going to have something to say about the motherboard. View 380 is a great choice for the case. 9070 XT though. Remember, these are not in US dollars. John, welcome. What's up? By the way, Kaiser, I have a question for you. Now, usually if you're looking at a different tab, this happens to both YouTube and Twitch. If it's not the active tab, it'll lower the quality. So don't think of it that way. But so basically, you have to switch back to that tab and be active in it, and then you'll see the quality jump back up. But based on that, can you tell a quality difference, Kaiser, between Twitch and YouTube once it like sort of ramps back up to regular quality? Okay. So the 9070 XT for 1440p, absolutely capable. But if you're looking to, I mean, and it's actually quite improved on ray tracing as well. FSR4 is really strong. I guess I'd have to look around at the market there for that. 2 terabyte 990 Evo Plus. Liquid Freezer 3 is a solid AIO. Though sometimes it can cause clearance issues because it has a thicker radiator than most AIOs. Let's see. The Corsair RM1000X. Going 1,000 watts with the 9070 XT, not a bad idea because some of the overclocked versions, I don't think this one, I mean, maybe the Sapphire Nitro, but there are some that ask for a little higher wattage capacity on the power supply. Oh, this price doesn't include the monitor. Right. Yeah, if you look at the budget thing there, it says, what is your budget, not including monitor, mouse, keyboard, just peripherals in general, not including taxes and shipping, just what you would look at on the site, you know? Because otherwise I have to go and look at what it's going to cost with taxes, with, we have to subtract for the peripherals and monitoring, yada, yada, yada. DNC Productions, this is New Zealand. This is not US dollars, as I said earlier. This is not in US dollars. I did mention that right off the bat. Can't tell any difference once it's fully loaded. Interesting. I basically sending 30,000 kilobits per second to YouTube and 8,000 kilobits per second to Twitch. So Twitch is doing a good job of making that look good, I suppose. Or YouTube is compressing the hell out of my video. But this is where I'm probably gonna have some commentary. Because if you look at this, I mean, your motherboard is one of the cheapest components on the list among the main components, right? CPU, GPU. Well, I mean, RAM is also primary, but I mean, it's going to be one of the cheaper components. But yeah, this is a budget motherboard, and it's not budget, but it is a little bit more entry level. But I want to tell you, this I/O right here, I would probably never, ever, ever, ever recommend this for a streaming PC. And yes, I know this is not bad. It's not bad. It's just that you can get way better I/O than this. And that's now, of course, there are 3 USB Type-Cs. I see that. But one important distinction is that all 3 of these are the slowest Type-C connector you can get at 10 gigabit per second. There's going to be devices that require 20, like an external capture card that is like an HDMI 2.1 capture card. You generally want to have 10 gig can sometimes run it, but you want to have that higher bandwidth USB 3.2 Gen 2x2, which is 20 gigabit per second, or even USB 4, which is something that you'll get on an X870 or X870E motherboard. But also, though this does have a solid amount of USB ports, it's 7 Type A's. Most of your devices are still going to come in as USB Type A. And let's just think about this real quick, okay? I mean, mouse, keyboard, headset, okay? Maybe a USB microphone. All right, cool. All that taken up. Then you're like, okay, wait, where do I have a Stream Deck. Okay. Stream Deck pedals. Okay. Face cam, yada, yada. I'm going to have a Elgato face cam. Maybe I want a second angle. Okay, cool. And then you're starting to get into your USB-Cs. And then you're just like when people stream for a long time, your needs can grow over time. And there are just 1,000,001 USB devices that you can have for your PC. So I would spend more on the motherboard here because it's a streaming PC. It's better to have the I/O and not need it than need it and not have it. Because upgrading your motherboard down the line, if you're just like, ugh, this device doesn't like to work through a hub or whatever, I have to connect it to the motherboard, I'm out of USB ports, let's just get a motherboard upgrade. Yeah, that's kind of hard to do. It's one of the hardest upgrades you can do, labor-wise, and skill-wise too, because I mean, you've already built the PC, but you basically have to unbuild half of it and then rebuild it. Now, aside from that, there's something important to consider here. What is one of the biggest benefits, one of the biggest selling points of AMD socket AM5 and AMD in general? That they're going to support that socket for years. So the whole point of that is that you're going to keep that motherboard for a long time. A long time. As a matter of fact, let's take a quick look here. Now, you said that you don't plan on upgrading your CPU over time. That's fine. 9800X3D is going to be goated for quite a while. That's what I'm streaming on right now. 8 cores, 16 threads, just fine for gaming and streaming. Okay? There are some streams that are going to have more stuff going on that maybe you want more cores. But AMD cannot manage to make a CPU that can run more than 8 cores while running a game. They just cannot bring themselves to do it. In this sense, that is where AMD Ryzen, current gen AMD Ryzen 9000 series, fails as a technology, as a platform. If you need more than 8 cores for when you're gaming, because you're streaming and running other stuff and doing other things, it is not the platform for you. They cannot do it. And I want y'all to really think about this. 9900X shuts down 6 of its cores and becomes a 6-core CPU. Same thing with the 9900X3D. 9950X3D shuts down and becomes a 9800X3D because it shuts down 8 of its cores. Same thing with the 9950X non-3D. Anything in 9000 series that uses 2 CCDs, you start up a game, AMD does not trust themselves to be able to schedule to run their scheduler effectively and not get CCD to CCD latency. They just can't do it. Massive failure on AMD's part. That's their fault, 100%. So, however, I mean, that's basically why I don't run anything more than a 9800X3D on this PC. And when I did that PC for gaming and streaming, back when I did this $2,000 PC for gaming and streaming with SkyTech last Black Friday, that was the idea. It was meant to be for any gaming streamer to be able to do their thing, including someone very competitive doing something like 1080p, very high refresh rate gaming. That's why the 9800X3D made a lot of sense at that time. But if someone comes to me and they says, yeah, I'm going to be doing all this stuff while I'm streaming, I'm going to be running this, running that, running this, running that, I'm going to be like, you should go Intel. Now, one thing I want to point out is that you did say that you're not interested in upgrading your CPU over time, but you are just gaming and streaming. I see no video editing added to this. So, yeah. I'm hoping that they get over the acceptance of doing the core parking thing. Nobody likes core parking. Well, either people don't care or they dislike it. There's nobody out there who's like, oh yeah, core parking is dope. It's not a thing. So I hope they get past that. But we're going to take a look at another motherboard, and I don't know. We'll see. Now, the reason I asked you, I'll upgrade if there's a big enough performance increase in performance, a big enough performance increase in performance for a good enough price. Well, if you're talking about the motherboard, it's not about performance. It's about connectivity. Now, you're talking about CPU, though. If you're just talking about your CPU down the line, sure. But like I said, the 9800X3D is going to be goated for a while. But this was actually the point I was getting at. By looking at your resolution and it's asking you what games you're going to be playing. Because you're playing mostly non-PvP games. Okay? So, here is my hot take for your PC. You do not need to buy a 9800X3D at all. There are two reasons for this. Okay? First off, you're not gaming competitively to where frames win games or whatever. That is the only thing that can actually validate the hundreds of dollars that the 9800X3D costs over the 9700X. Okay? Also, the fact that it is X3D, but they made it to where you can overclock it now, that is nice. But there's other things for it. But 9700X otherwise can do everything the 9800X3D does. And that goes especially with the second reason. You're not doing this at 1080p. You selected 1440p. And the load on the CPU, there's a massive drop-off in how much work the CPU has to do when you go from 1080p to 1440p. And then even more when you go to 4K, which you could use the 9070 XT for some 4K gaming. It can do it. But once you leave the 1080p resolution, the 9800X3D loses its lead by a lot. Like it's almost equal to most other CPUs. Unless you know for a fact that the games you want to play are CPU bound, like Rust, Microsoft Flight Simulator, stuff like that. If you know that already, then yeah, get the 9800X3D. You'll notice the benefits even at higher resolutions. Otherwise, it means nothing at higher resolutions. I've been complaining about this forever. Like, here is my proof. I do not need to, I'm not just saying an opinion here. If you go back and watch the review of the 9800X3D, like say from Gamers Nexus, look at the resolution settings for almost every chart. In fact, we're going to go do that now. I'm not just going to say stuff. Let me back it up too. Hold on. Let me just look it up here and bring it up over there. This is something that really frustrates me about the way people handle reviews. Now, to be clear, I really do like the 9800X3D. It's just that it is a little overhyped and overpriced. All right, let's see here. Okay. Now, let's see here. Okay. So let's see here. What do we got here for the resolution settings on this? This one is 1080p, right there, 1080p. See that? Here, we'll go ahead and all full screen this so that that's a little larger. All right, first chart, 1080p. Cool, cool. Probably the next one will be different, right? Hold on. Okay, next chart. Also 1080p. Okay, well, hey, look at that lead though. Oh my God, it's worth $200 extra, $250 extra probably. Okay, hold on. Let's see. What is Dawn Trail, right? At Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail, 1080p. Huh. I mean, that's not that big of a lead, is it? I mean, can you tell the difference between 353 frames per second and 373 frames per second? Probably not. Probably not. That is a single-digit percentage right there. Interesting. Okay, well, let's keep going. They'll probably have 1440p here soon. No, that's still Final Fantasy. It's a different kind of chart. Okay, here we go. 1440. Nope. That's 1080p. Whoa, look at that lead though. Whoa. Wow. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Well, all right. Well, that's fine. I mean, still, there's a lot of people playing at 1080p, though. The majority, like, there's more growth in the 1440p segment currently for people who are upgrade, like whatever. That doesn't matter. Let's okay. All right, 1080p. Wow, that's not even that big of a difference. Look, 9700X, and it's only a difference of 23 frames per second. This is this is in the 600s. Okay, in FPS, you will not see the difference there. But okay, whatever. What's the next one? 1080p. Okay, well, that's weird. I mean, this is Gamers Nexus, right? Like they're going to show other charts of other resolutions, right? Because like, right? Hold on. F1 2024 1080p. Total War Warhammer 3 1080p. Wait, that's it? That's all the gaming tests. They did it all in 1080p. Now, why would they do that? Well, because their job is to show you the difference in performance between these CPUs. And once you go above 1080p, there isn't one for most games. It just doesn't, it looks like a flat plane. They're just all caught up to each other because then it's GPU bound. So, what I'm trying to do here is basically save you hundreds of dollars on something you just don't need, because it's think of it this way. Like, hold on. I know that they had a 1440p one in here somewhere. Come on. It was like mixed in with another one. No. Now, I'm not saying that Gamers Nexus is wrong for this, okay? Because, like, they need to show the performance difference. But, like, it needs to be more clearly stated. Because they're like, oh, all they're going to say is, like, rip Intel. What the hell, dude? Like, anyone who's buying a $500 CPU or $480 CPU at launch, like, there's a lot of those people who are not looking to game at 1080p. If you can afford $480 for your CPU, US dollars, to be clear. Well, Xeno 9700X. Now, the thing about the 9800X 3D is they barely ever put it on sale because the demand is too high. I am really sorry, by the way. 1 second. I should absolutely mention this, and I did not. Sorry, 1 second. I'm going to do this. I want to get my Zoom thing right. Thank you, Blood Little Dog 12, for the Prime sub. Let's go, nerds. Welcome to the Swarm. I'm so sorry I missed that. I'm in the middle of a rant-ish. It's kind of a rant. It's kind of not a rant, but it's kind of one, yes. But anyways, I hope I have made it very clear that it's just not really worth it for most gamers to get a 9800X 3D if all you're trying to do is play AAA titles or single-player games at higher resolutions. It just doesn't make sense. Now, if you are just like, I just want the best. They say it's the best, I want the best. Well, okay, all right, cool, that's fine. But saying just a statement is the statement of the best gaming CPU is like saying, I have the best race car windshield wipers. Like, yeah, they could be important, right? But it's probably engine, tires, transmission, and driver that's more important. And in this case, that's all GPU when it comes to gaming, okay? The GPU is generally going to be the most important component. So best gaming CPU is just sort of a, it's like, all right, cool. That's a little pat on the head. Here you go. But gaming is more, where graphics happen is in the GPU. And if you're at a lower resolution and you want insane frame rates, then yeah, you need the CPU to be pretty baller in that case. But that's why in Shroud's own PC, it's a 9800X3D. There you go. He needs that. But it makes CPUs like the 9950X3D kind of ridiculous because like you're spending an extra $150, $200 for a 16-core CPU where only 8 of them have that 3D cache, and that only helps you really in 1080p, except for specific, more CPU-bound games, which is the minority of games. The majority of games are GPU-bound. End of story. So yeah. Anyways, that was a lot of talking for that one point, but I hope that that's going to help you be okay with just getting that for now. You're building this thing yourself, so upgrading it down the line is probably going to be a good idea. Anyways, back to the show. But yeah, I don't know why I continued after you were like, so 9700X? Yeah, I should have just been, yeah. Bloodle Dog says, you're welcome, you're fire. Oh, I thought you said fire. Like, you're fire. All right, hell yeah. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. You're welcome, you're fine. Sounds good. How would you describe all computer parts in terms of car parts? Now I've already ranted quite a bit, John, so I'm gonna, we could do that later, probably. I mean, the windshield wiper thing would not make sense. I mean, it would be very different then. But okay, 900. Okay, X3D, 7800 X3D, only about $50 more. Yes, yeah, 7800 X3D is nipping on the heels of the 9800 X3D in a lot of these cases. So yeah. Anyway, let's get. Oops, wrong window there.
We see it again.
Anyways, but yeah, again, I'm frustrated with a lot of the reviewers here, not in the fact that they have to do 1080p testing. I just want to make this clear. Not because they have to do 1080p testing. It really is the only way to show the difference and advancements in gaming CPU stuff, right? But I'm unhappy with the fact that they weren't more clear. They just wanted a W. They just wanted to have something positive for once, and I get that. But they have to be really clear, like, hey, for this price, this doesn't make sense for a lot of you guys. But they make that the very smallest part of the video, if they mention it at all. Crash, what's going on? It's been a while. How are things with you? No, I haven't seen Has Been Hotel. I think I've seen an episode. We watched an episode. Cal YT, what's up? Just want to say thank you for all the great information. Just bought my PC from Build Redux because one of your reviews. So again, thank you. Those reviews were a really long time ago, and I'm guessing you didn't watch the unboxing where I absolutely tore them down for the terrible case they were using. And also, they suck now because they took away all customization. So I'm not a fan of Build Redux anymore. They have regressed into a really poor system integrator. So I'm really sorry to hear that. That's the bad thing about YouTube is those old videos. Like, if you're going to make a purchase, make sure you're watching more up-to-date and looking at more up-to-date reviews rather than, yeah, and make sure it's not sponsored by that company that they're reviewing. But anyways, let's get back to the bill. All right, so 9700X, let's look at the price difference. In New Zealand dollars, it is $939. And if we do 9700X, wait, what do you mean Intel? Oh, my bad. I have to edit the parts list. There we go. All right. Now, if you look at the 9700X, $654. Yeah. Now, what we do is we take that money and we get you a good motherboard. Remember, the motherboard is the backbone of your system. It is the backbone of your system. And it is the hardest component to upgrade. It is literally like rebuilding your PC to upgrade your motherboard. So you can easily, within 10 minutes, upgrade your CPU. Yeah, it's like a couple hours to do the motherboard. So instead of going with the sort of like more entry-level chipset, if you were just gaming, I wouldn't say a word about the motherboard. But when you start saying, I'm gonna do streaming, I want to stream, the motherboard shoots to the top of the list in importance. IMO. If you're asking me for my input, that's what it is. So what we want to do is we want to choose the actual higher end chipset, which is going to be X870 or X870E. Okay, and you're doing a black build. All right. Think of a busy man. Sister got married a few weeks ago. Oh, congratulations to them. That's awesome. So save on the CPU so I can spend more on the motherboard. Yep. Yep. Whenever I really get the bit in my teeth and I just really start ranting, I'm really bad about reading chat. I'm sorry about that. Oh, out of stock. No, that one's awesome. Okay. Well, let me see which one you had before again. So you're looking at MSI. Now, we can't match up the GPU to the motherboard brand like I sometimes like to do because Sapphire does not make motherboards. So let's at least look at the Aorus Elite Wi-Fi 7, yada, yada, yada. Let's just take... They're not going to have good pictures for us here. So let's just do that. Right-click the highlighted text. Search Google for. We're going to look at the rear I/O. This is usually a great indicator of whether this is going to be right for you or not. I mean, already, this is way better. Oh, that's great. There we go. This is way better. First off, though you only have 2 USB Type-Cs instead of 3, those were 10 gigabit per second. This is USB 4 with DisplayPort out. This is 40 gigabits per second per USB Type-C. Plus way better power delivery as well. You still have the 4 USB 2.0. That's for your peripherals, mouse, keyboard, headset, things like that. Then you have 4 USB 3.2s and that are 5 gigabit per second, 3.2 Gen 1, then USB 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabit per second. Now there is one downside. Your previous motherboard had, did it not? Let me see. Let me back up and check which one it was. Did this have? This has 5 gig Ethernet. That's actually really cool for this motherboard, but you know, I don't know if you have 5 gigabit home internet. You might. I do. I don't know if you do. But yeah, let's keep looking at these. I got to do this again. X870 and X870E, particularly X870E. Let's actually try to narrow it down to that, see if we can get something close to the price. It is actually a dual chipset. Like the amount of... no, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. The amount of... oh, look, there's the same version of what you had, but the X870E version. Let's compare it. The amount of connectivity there that you get. Like, look at the improvement here. Now, it's not a ton. It's not a ton of improvement, but it's... Don't let... like, at a glance. However, you get 2 more 5 gigabit per second USB 3.0s. And these 2, instead of being those 10 gigabit per second, just basic USB 3.2 Gen 2, they're USB 4, 40 gigabit per second. Ty, what's up? So the 9950X3 has been flawless. Like, went back through playing around with old edits, and there was 0 stuttering. It was like butter. Awesome. So you're actually able to use those 16 cores with the video editing. That's awesome. That's one of those cases where, yeah, that CPU can make sense. That's all right. You was talking about CPUs understandable instead of fire. It was supposed to be you are fine. No, I didn't say fire. I mean, you said fine, but I read it as fire. But no, you're good. Beaver, yes, you did, but you've heard the rant before. It's about the review, how the 9800X3D reviews were a little bit misleading because it was all all they really can do is test 1080p, but they're not clear enough about the fact that a $480 US dollar CPU for 1080p gaming is kind of insane. Thank you, Bray. Best content creator I've seen about reading the chat. It's extremely impressive. Well, I mean, there's not that much chat flying by. That does help. Whenever things get really fast, I think I'm in the same boat as everybody else. The Micro Center worker was like, do you really need this? And when I mentioned video editing, he just nodded and knew. Nice. You know what? I would say show him the form that you filled out. That would have been cool if you show him the form. And I feel like anytime someone's going to get a Micro Center build, show them the form that you filled out. And just so they know, okay, this person was asked the right questions. Or at least tell them, like, hey, I had someone give me a free consultation thing. He does it on stream or whatever. I imagine in Tustin they've heard of they've heard. I mean, I've already introduced myself to those guys, but anyways, what was I doing? So right, so this is an upgrade, but is it a $200 upgrade? I don't know. We're gonna go back and take a look at more of these. Oh man, that price jumped up real quick because the Carbon Wi-Fi is really good, but it's a really big price jump. A really big price jump. I know this says it's out of stock. I know that. But I want to verify this is the one I was thinking of. Any day now. Yeah. Pretty similar, but yeah. Why 2.5 gig Ethernet for this? That makes no sense for this motherboard. Yeah, this one is super sick because it has two PCI Express X16 slots that are both running at X4, which is awesome for higher-end capture cards. Now, they're not both PCIe Gen 4, but it doesn't matter. A capture card like the CamLink Pro needs 4 lanes of PCIe. However, it only runs at PCIe Gen 2 speed. That's all it requires. So you can run it in this PCIe 3.0 X4, and it's more bandwidth than it needs. What's up, man? How's it going, Mikey? What's up? Yeah, no, it's the thing is comparing a B850 versus X870E. Yeah. Now, I don't know how this translates pricing wise, but and also this one is the price on this is not $1,000. The price on this one is $768.99. $768. I would say that let me check on the specs for this real quick. Oh no, I already have it. I have it right here. Let me check on the PCIe layout for this one. What's going on, Mikey? How's it going? Specifications. Just want to check the PCIe layout here. X1 and X4. Okay. So this one's fine. The X1 here means that you can't run the more elaborate capture cards, internal capture cards in that slot, but you can in this one. And because these are both from the chipset, not from the CPU, that means you're not going to get your primary PCIe slot for your GPU down to X8. It's not going to cut your throughput in half for that PCIe slot for the GPU. So that's good. So what you would do is put your capture card in the very bottom one, and in the one just above that, you would put something like an additional USB add-in card, which is like $30, and you can like double your USB ports by doing that. And they're very fast that way. One note I want to tell you guys is do not use that port, that PCIe slot, and any of those USB ports if you put a card there for your keyboard and mouse. Because if you put your PC to sleep and you're trying to wake from your keyboard or mouse, it's not going to work. That PCIe slot goes to sleep when your computer does. It's only the actually rear I/O ports that are going to stay active, and maybe your front ones too. So I would say this one's better. This is a really solid upgrade. in terms of because I imagine if we look at the PCIe for the other one, it maybe can have bifurcation. I'm not sure. I'd have to look, but I think it's a solid upgrade for you. And it's only what, a couple $100. So there you go. So like Stream Deck on the ports, yeah. Stream Deck, you can also do things like a lot of Elgato devices. If you don't plug it into a 5.0, not 5.0, a 5 gigabit per second USB 3.0 port, one of the blue ones, or the faster one of the red ones, it's not going to work. Like the Facecam Pro, their external capture cards, it needs high bandwidth for that. So yeah. So I'm going to recommend this guy right here. There we go. So we switched you from a 9800X3D that did not work for that didn't make sense for your build, and we took that money, put it towards the motherboard. Now, what it's showing for your total, this is including your mouse and keyboard, which I normally don't do, is 4606 in New Zealand dollar dues. I usually say that for Australian dollars, but hey, this makes my IO look like nothing. I don't know about that. Robin Lore, welcome. How are you? John Paul Bacon, welcome. What's up? But yeah, also, by the way, Zeno, if I can recommend one thing, Stream Deck, absolute must, 100%. But also look at the Stream Deck pedals or any USB pedals. It's just the coolest thing to be able to, like, hands-free, just be able to do stuff like that. And just be like talking and just be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then you're, so it looks like you got somebody running your stream for you. It's pretty cool. The pedals are awesome. But that's the thing is you want to do things like that. You're going to need one more USB port. Okay. Another one. Okay, cool. Oh man, I want a Stream Deck on the left. This one's just going to be for my audio or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. It just happens. It happens to a lot of streamer friends of mine. It happened as they just grew their stream in terms of functionality. Ghost, what's going on? Welcome, Ghost Poner. How are you? Okay, so now looking real quick. Let's see. I think everything else is fine. Yeah. Look at what else is at this around this price range. So is there a reason that you're not considering the 5070 Ti? Good, reinstall the Ghost of Tsushima. Nice. Okay, my Steam install is complete. I don't have to be in 160p anymore. Steam install, how is that affecting your resolution? Were you just waiting for that to finish so that you could fix your resolution? Oh, but yeah, for very close to that price, the 5070 Ti, I know the 9070 XT and 5070 Ti do compete. They go back and forth in some games in pure rasterized performance. But if you turn on all of their features, FSR 4 for the 9070 XT and DLSS 4 for the 5070 Ti, the 5070 Ti is going to win on ray-traced games. I want to be all AMD partially, to be honest. All right. Sure. That was just me asking if there was a reason for that, and there's your reason. Okay. I was just trying to see if in New Zealand there was a big price gap between the two, and there is not. So, in fact, there are cheaper 9070 XTs that you could look at. Like a lot cheaper. Why are you getting this one? Why are you getting this one that's $1,650 when you can get a 9070 XT for $1,436? From the same brand. These are all questions that I have. And don't tell me, oh, this one's overclocked. I don't think it's worth spending an extra $200. No. The difference in performance like in actual frames, FPS is gonna be like that. Like that. It's not, it's like hardly anything. No. Vetoed. Vetoed. No. $200. I don't think so. It is the same silicon. It is the same card. No. Look at that. It is more than $200. $224. $214. Nah. Now you still have your list. If you really just want to throw more money at them, sure. But yeah, as Sonic 1000 said, the factory overclocks are a joke. You can just do that yourself. Anton, what's up? 26 watching, only 11 likes. Like the stream. I appreciate that. Thank you. Although it does show me 28. So even more. Drop a like, guys, if you're enjoying the stream on YouTube. But yeah, actually, your overall price now should be lower than it was. And your PC, whenever you are moving from having a single use case to any multiple use cases, what you have to look for is balance. You got to look for balance. And that's what we did with this build. Now, these are my opinions based on a lot of experience, yes, but other people might disagree. And if you do, that's fine. But this, to me, is a much more balanced build. And also, we saved you from just giving money away for that factory overclock. Do love me a thermal take case. This is a really nice one. The View 380 is very nice. You may want to consider a thermal take AIO to match the fans. Because that 9700X is not going to require a ton of cooling, and you're already going to have a 360. So I would consider a thermal take AIO to match this case, if it's available. Now the thing is also, I guess Computer Lounge has to carry that part. Yeah, it does. They do. They have it out of stock though, so you might need to just order the GPU. But you're going to save hundreds for doing that. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it here. I mean, you were pretty confident in what you're doing, and you had good reason to be. This was a good build. I just massaged it a bit. I tweaked it a bit. Min-maxing, you know? It's like when you're like, hey, like you're playing D&D, and you're somewhat new to it, and you make the mistake of trying to play a mage, and you're like, hey, DM, help me with this, and they just make your character just a little bit more powerful. Improve price to performance. Absolutely. Now, again, if you want the Nitro Plus, I'm not going to judge you. I'm just going to give you my 2 cents on that. Eric Bergman, what's up? There's 31 of us on Twitch. That is correct. Usually, I mean, it'll go back and forth. Sometimes we have more on YouTube. Sometimes we have more on Twitch. It usually averages out to about 60 to 75 people, just depending on the day. But yeah. Okay, let me go ahead and save this build. Oh, wait a minute. We did do one. I'm going to hit 2, and we're going to see. What the heck? Did I do one for you? And you ended up changing it or something? Here, let me see. We're going to try to open up the other one. Maybe this was my mistake. I could have made the mistake. But I didn't see your form in there unless I did it a long time ago. But you've only been following since last month, so I don't know how that would have happened. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, it's right there. I just did this. Why wasn't it in the list? Oh, I recommended an Intel build for you. How did I forget this already? Oh, this is in alphabetical order, I guess. And it's an X. So it's not that I just did this. I just don't know when I did it. Oh, wait, it was through Twitch Whispers. I didn't think. Okay. Okay. But yeah, we went Intel for you. Okay. Well, either way, I think that we've come to the final conclusion here. I think that's all good. Sure. Let me send you the link to the build. No, it's not an... I guess I just did this. That's really weird. I don't know how I missed that, but okay. Maybe it's just the first time you submitted a form, I suppose. This is why the spreadsheet is so important, though. It helps me keep track of this stuff. Okay. Speaking of D&D, if I only had more wisdom, I would have chosen a higher dexterity. That's a good one. I like that. What's up, Chris? How's it going? Good usage of the sup emote, which is one of my favorites of the OG emotes that Ari drew for the stream way back in the day. I probably need to change the colors on that one and lighten up the coloring on RGB a little bit. Or maybe change the background color for contrast. I can use extra money to get a better monitor too, or 2 monitors. For streaming, for a streaming PC, 2 monitors is a must, and you will never go back. And your second monitor does not have to be a crazy, insane monitor. You could just get a 27-inch 1080p monitor or 20, whatever, for like $100. It doesn't have to be more than 60 hertz. It's just for showing chat or doing whatever. I can't stream now with less than 3 monitors. It drives me crazy. Because I want to have my chat really big on one monitor, and now I have to show 2 chats, YouTube and Twitch. And I want to have like my like streaming what is it, dashboard, my OBS or Meld or whatever there, my music player on another one, and then I have my main desktop on the main monitor. Like for me, because of what I do, I can't use any less. I have an old TV I could use as a secondary. That does work just fine for that as well. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I'll call that one good. I'm also wondering if you just submitted yours under a different name. And that's happened a million times, so it's no big deal. But that is also why I insist on the name matching your handle on Twitch or YouTube, whichever you are on at that moment. Just so that it makes it a lot easier to cross-reference. Okay, sounds good. I like a 15-inch monitor that stands like a tablet on the side for Discord and Google if I'm stuck in a game. Nice. Dark Forest, what's up? Braythorn, I have a question. I'm getting the Legatus 2.1 build. Everything in the build is white, but the motherboard is the X870E Carbon Wi-Fi motherboard. It's black. The only motherboard they can get in white is MSI X870E Edge Titanium in white. Am I losing good features if I go to this board? What features are important to you that you might be losing? Like Dark Forest, remember, you're asking me. Now, let me see if you did a form. No. You know how it works here. I don't know. I don't know what you're using it for. Whether it will even matter to you. If you're just gaming, it does not matter. Pick the aesthetic one. For just gaming, you need like 6 USB ports. You don't need a ton. But if you're doing more than that, then we do need to look at that. I feel like half of my job doing this is trying to get people to take their motherboards more seriously. Because there's just been this thing for the longest time where people do not care about their motherboards. And I think one of the major factors there is motherboard pricing just going through the roof throughout the pandemic. Like after the post-pandemic, motherboard pricing was at least double or more, tripled in some cases. And it's hard to compare that because it's newer generations of motherboards. And they'll make all kinds of excuses for why that's a thing. Isn't that great? Don't we love that? No, it's not great. We don't love that. But it's frustrating as hell. Now, but the thing is, if you're just like y'all got to remember, more people are not just gaming than there are people who are just gaming that come in for help here. And yeah, so it's a little hard to factor that out because I split up all the use cases. But if I could probably do something here to where it would show how many use cases there are, like if it's more than just gaming, in this chart. And I need to just up my game on spreadsheets in order to do stuff like that. But yeah. And once you get to that point to where you're not just gaming, which is a lot of people now, yeah, the motherboard becomes critical. I remember monochrome. Excuse me? What do you mean? Monochrome. Bray, are you a Destroy All Humans fan? No, I don't think I've played that. Also, not a fan of the concept in general. I have not elevated myself to becoming a sentient AI yet. Maybe someday. It's good to have goals. But nope, not yet. Okay, well, if you're coming in looking for help, now's the time. Or if you're like, I don't want to ask for help again because he's already helped me before, but, you know, I was thinking about getting a build for my cousin or something. Whatever. Now's the time. Let me help you out. I remember rolls of yellow paper. Oh, we've come a long way. Yeah. I never really did any of that. Like, if you're talking about accounting, stuff like that, nah. Yeah, punch cards. Wow. My mom used to work on those in Belgium. Punch card, whole room punch card computing. Yeah. Whole room is a computer. Or the computer takes up a whole room. My first computer was a TRS-80, Model 3, with a whopping 16K of memory. That was monochrome. Got it. So basically, if you're just talking about monochrome monitors, then yeah, I do remember that. But it was, yeah, 10D1000 for me. Radio Shack for the win. If you were to play The Last of Us or Cyberpunk for the first time, which would you choose? Knowing myself, Cyberpunk. I would choose that. I know there's a lot of criticism about the story, and there's a lot of flaws to that game, but there are some cool things too. So yeah. Thermaltake AIOs are a bit cheaper here too. They're a bit cheaper in general. They have really good pricing on their AIOs. DOS, paper tape, when you cut and paste source code, you literally use scissors and rubber cement. Yep. Just downloaded both, so I feel stuck on which one to play first. Well, I'm not you. You're not me. You pick whichever one you're like more interested in. Play an hour of each and see which one you want to continue on first. I would do that because I'm pretty sure The Last of Us is probably going to be more like gripping in terms of the story. But personally, I'm not a fan of horror games that much. It's not my thing. So I would go to Cyberpunk first. Is a screen on an AIO with worth the extra, or should I go with just an on-screen version? It's something that is cool for like 30 minutes, and then you never really change it again. That's most people's experience with that, I believe. It's neato, and if you're the type of person who really just likes to gaze at your PC and look at it and just enjoy that, then get it, sure. But if you're talking about, you did pick boutique for your build. That's the kind of thing that fits in with a boutique build, but it's not, I think, critical for most. Destroy All Humans, I believe, is an old PS2 game that has been remastered a few years ago. Interesting. Nope, never played it. The thing is, I'm like 33% through with Red Dead at the moment. That's still going to take you a long time to finish, but it's worth finishing from what I hear. I have Red Dead 2, and I played it for about an hour, and I was like, this is so slow, and I don't have much time for gaming these days. Like, I want to, but it's just not, yeah. Usually, it runs pretty cheap, around $10. Okay. Crash, I do remember that while you were hanging out here more frequently, you felt your main job was to try to get me to play games that you liked. And that's cool. But like, I barely have time to play the games that I already want to play. So yeah, having same brands is worth it too. Absolutely. I'm 8% through Red Dead 2 right now. Lol, been playing for a week. It's a long game. So was like GTA 5. The story mode for that was really long. I'm thinking I may trade in my PS5 towards that Ghost of Yote Special Edition PS5. Okay. Just, it looks sick. Yeah. But like, can't you just get the side panels for it and swap them out? Because basically you're basically giving away money to Sony for that. Like, you're going to get less value, way less value on the PS5 you already have, and buy a special edition one, which I imagine is more expensive than a regular PS5. It's like buying 2 PS5s, probably, with the way you're going to be looking at it. Are Gigabyte monitors any good? Yeah, they make some really nice monitors. Let's get. I turned that off. Okay, there we go. I'm so back, logged in since I barely game anymore. I'm just getting around to Witcher 3. Sonic 1000, I never played Witcher 3. I never played any of the Witcher games. Surprisingly enough, I never did. I've heard really good things. I just never did it. I know it's one of the best open world story-centric games like ever made, but I just never did it. Any thoughts on controllers? I'm playing Elden Ring Night Rain. It's my first game that I got used as a controller, and pressing down on the thumbsticks is difficult. What controller are you using? You might want to let me know, Bergie, so I know. I mean, I might not have ever used it, but what controller are we talking about that you're already using? Any update on the pre-rebuilt PC? No update on it, but no, I'm still working on renovating the room for putting in the giant green screen that I'm going to need for that series. You know who makes really nice monitors? Also, Asus ROG Strix. I'm very impressed with mine. And yeah, honestly, the assumption is going to be that they're more expensive, and they sometimes can be more expensive than some like different because you're paying for the brand name. But this Asus monitor that they sent me is genuinely quite nice in terms of some of the quality of life things, like how quickly it starts up and the on-screen display, all that stuff. Really nice. They haven't really announced, and I spend more on this PS5 during COVID in first place price. What? What's up, Alucard? We did a build for Xeno, the Cyberwagon. Okay, so my thought is buy a 1440p 1080 or 180 monitor. Wait until Cyber Monday, then get an OLED monitor. Sure. I'll tell you, Xeno, I'm not a monitor expert when it comes to that. I hesitate to give much advice on that because there's guys like Tech Audit that's kind of a lot of what they do. Not all they do, but a lot of what they do. Tech Audit is awesome. Honestly, I feel like he didn't get enough credit for calling out the NZXT rental thing before anybody else. Like that was, yeah. But yeah, check out Tech Audit TV. Check out Monitors Unboxed. And if you want just articles, artings.com. Those are probably my favorite 3 resources if I'm looking into monitor stuff. The thing about Yote is Pro Model with disk is Pro Model with disk drive. Okay, well there's value there. But yeah, what's up, Alucard? Hope you're doing well. And Dodger Dog, how's it going? I read your chat, but I didn't say hi. But hi. My second monitor is an Acer 180 hertz monitor. It's pretty nice too. The model is XV272U V3 BMII PRX. Just rolls off the tongue. I have an Asus Predator. Got it back in COVID. It's Acer Predator. John. That is Acer. Predator is an Acer line of products. That's like the Ryzen 4070. Braid, does your ROG Strix monitor have the lights on the back of it too? I never paid attention. Does it? Nope. But then again, it is a 4K 165 hertz monitor that runs like $400. So it's not like super feature packed and stuff you don't need. It doesn't have the USB hub built in, though it does have a USB Type-C with display on it and charging and stuff. Though the charging on that is surprisingly weak, which is really annoying. The whole point of that was to hook up the Z13 Flow to it and have a single cable setup, and that didn't work out. This is not the right monitor for that, basically. So I guess it's probably not a Strix monitor now that I think about it. Lamau, the Predator is the only name listed on the front, and I thought it was an Asus for 5 years. John, turn it off and on and tell me what word comes up. What brand name comes up when you just turn the monitor on. Because it's going to say the brand. It should. Just been busy with work, currently looking around for some stuff for possibly upgrading my workspace a little when I can thoroughly clean it up. Do you already have a pegboard? Because if you don't, I can absolutely recommend Wall Control. Best tool boards or pegboards on the market. 5180 including shipping as total cost. Is that down from what it was before? Oh, I've gotten the total cost of 5078 for everything. I just saw that. Nice. Dodger Dog, yeah, it's because the monitor is on standby. It's not turned off. It's probably an option in the on-screen display menu. So next time you have your PC on, just use the little joystick menu thing to try and look through that and see if it has a thing to turn off the lights in general. I mean, do you need them on at all? I don't think so. The problem with those lights, who looks at those? Who sees those? They're not bright enough to actually illuminate behind the monitor all that much. Some are getting there, but to me, that should be the purpose, is to illuminate the back behind your monitor, like the wall and stuff. But they don't make them strong enough for that. It's stupid. I got some IKEA Scottis. Just need to set them up. Already thinking some wire shelving for my components. I hate wire shelving. It is so annoying. And that's someone who has some saying this. But you have to put something on top of it, because if you put a case there, it's just like it damages the feet of your case. If you try to move them around and you're not like lifting it up really. Yeah. I hate wire shelving so much. Ugh. One of the worst things I did was when when I became sysadmin at this company, or IT admin, I wanted to sort of renovate our department a little bit, because the dude who was there before was awesome, but we had just gone through this massive project that left a huge mess of just like old hardware, stuff like that we needed to keep on hand as we were doing the transition and stuff. So we were still doing it. So I was like, I'm going to get a bunch of shelves. I got wire shelving. And for the following year, I cursed myself, my past self, for doing that. Where like it was a few months, actually, before I just put some plywood on top of it. And I was like, okay, cool. There you go. My next purchase will probably be a good office chair. See if you can get the Thunder X3. I think it's the Flex Pro. I think it's sick. I sat in that at Computex. It's so awesome. And it's half the price of other brands have it with similar ergonomic functions. Because it's like very adjustable and very comfortable. And again, that's a Thunder X3 Flex Pro. Check that one out. It's like $500 US, $550 US, but it matches the features of like $900 to $1,000 chairs from other brands. Cool, I'll look into that. Yeah, I don't need that on. The only time I notice them is when they're lighting up my room at night when I'm trying to go to sleep. Yeah. But yeah, Alucard, if you look right there, IKEA Scottis. So I use those too. These are 4 of the 6 wall control pegboards I had previously in the garage. And guys, I've been thinking about it again. I've been thinking about trying to get first I have to clean out that garage. Since I stopped using it as a studio, it's a graveyard for gigantic cardboard boxes and other stuff. That's like, it's so bad. I have an old couch in there that I need to get rid of, stuff like that. Actually, I have 3 old couches in there I need to get rid of. It's really bad. But once I clean that up, I do have an AC guy here. Like I could DIY the AC unit, the mini split for there, but I don't own the home. I'm renting, and if I'm renting a place, I'm gonna get a professional to do stuff like that, just out of respect for the home. And also have to consider, if I move out, that probably has to stay. So it's like I haven't done it because once I realized that, I was just like, I'm just gonna use a room. I'm just gonna use a room in the house. This is ridiculous. Can't find that chair, but I do see the Thunder X3 XTC ergonomic. Let me look at that one. That one's okay. I mean, it's kind of the Kind of the same as like some of the other more like pretty nice chairs. Oh no, that's Secret Lab. Hold on, that's Secret Lab. Freaking Google, you suck, Google. You're the worst. They just will accept money to become a less accurate search engine. I was like, this thing looks like a Secret Lab chair, but no, it was actually Secret Lab. Okay. Oh yeah, this one's pretty close. This one's pretty close to the Flex Pro. Here, I'll show you the Flex Pro. I know you couldn't find it. Maybe it's not out yet. I don't know. My last long form video that I posted was from Computex, and it was from that. Oh, man. I'm kind of sad, guys, because I had told myself if I had the time and the money, I would try to make it to SGDQ this year. Because I know some of those guys now from last TwitchCon, and I've been chatting with them and stuff like that. And I wanted to go and support for the... but anyways, Oats and Goats just posted the low percent ice Super Metroid race that they just did. And I want to know who won. But oh well, whatever. I have to look at that later. And that means when you... So yeah, the other one's going to be kind of like this, where it like almost articulates like that. It's super adjustable. And the leg rest is really cool too. But this the one you're looking at doesn't have that. Yeah, it like swivels out. It's really cool. Yeah, Thunder X3 makes some really nice chairs. I'd love to go to some of these events, but expensive. I don't know if you're talking about Computex or SGDQ, because that's in the US, but I mean, I think you're closer to Taiwan than I am. So maybe Computex wouldn't be too bad for you, but it is an industry event. So you need to be either media or in the industry or something like that. All the computer events, yeah. I've been looking into using mats for the shelving already. Other thing I was going to use was the boxes of the components. I will store or 3D print some bins for small components to keep them organized. Yeah, I mean, and if you do that right off the bat, then yes, it is worth it. It's just like I had to remove everything, then put down. I basically use the plastic sheets that you can get that are already fitted to them. I used that. It wasn't plywood. But those eventually crack and break. It's just terrible. It sucks. Anyway. But yeah, we'll love a chance to check out CES and Computex. Yeah, they're both really fun. CES is way more of just everything, of just like everything that runs current through it, everything that runs electricity through it. That's CES, and you get some really wacky stuff there, like AI lawnmower, right? And I'm not kidding. That's legitimately a thing. AI automatic lawnmower. Okay. But not even remote controlled. It just does its thing. It's like a Roomba for your grass. Anyways, but other stuff too. Crazy things. But then a lot of computer stuff too. It's just, you have to hunt that stuff down. Computex is the Super Bowl for PC-centric tech expo kind of thing for that industry. So that's the one whatever I have to do, come hell or high water, I'm going to go to that every year. Because it's just, it's a mecca for tech content creators. DJ Simple Green, seen one of those robot mowers in my neighborhood. Fear the mower. Fear the mower. Chris says Witcher combat is tough. Is it? I'm so backlogged since I barely game anymore. I already read that's where that came from. I would say, let me ask you guys this. How many people in chat, and if you're lurking, it would mean a lot to me if you would suspend your lurk for just a moment. How many of you in chat have played or are playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33? Or have considered it? And if you haven't considered it, consider it. It's so good. It is so freaking amazing. Beat it already. All right, tough. There you go. I will consider it. There you go. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. Crash, it is I mean, it's an RPG. It is turn-based RPG, but it also involves active dodging, parrying, things like that, for when your enemies attack. There are also quick time event things for when you're attacking. It's amazing. It's an amazing game. And also, it has some of the most beautiful music for any video game ever. And the visuals. There is no other game that looks like it. Do I see... Oops, that's the wrong button. I didn't cuss, I promise. Do I see PC World in my chat? What's up, PC World? How the heck you doing? Am I talking to Adam right now? Thank you for lurking. How's it going? It's been a minute. Chris has it. Tech Blacksmith, not playing it yet. The yet is the key term there. I watched my friend play. It's amazing. It is. It's a me. I miss you, bro. I hope you're doing okay. Yeah. Let's go, full nerds. Hey, you say the word. I'll be there again. You say the word. God, there's so much has been going on. Good Lord. Sounds awesome. I'll definitely check it out. Oh, yeah. Check out some gameplay of it. Try not to spoil it for yourself because the story is also fantastic. There's no aspect of Expedition 33 that is not peak. Visual Nate, what's going on? Hold up. Visual Nate. Thank you for the... Visual Nate just subscribed to Tier 1. Let's go, nerds. That is 21 months of support. Thank you for the 12-month streak. Hell yeah. What about Death Stranding 2? I never played Death Stranding 1. It doesn't really appeal. I've watched some gameplay. It doesn't really appeal to me. Honestly, my favorite video game OST is Doom Eternal. I mean, that one's sick, absolutely. Dark Force, have not played it yet. Lol, that effect didn't work very well on the voice that time. Which one? This effect? Or this effect? Because that's the wrong one. I'll get myself a buzzer for that. Wrong effect, baby. Wrong effect. Damn. This is Adam. I figured out how to get it to run well on handhelds. Nice. Been playing DS2. Playing Death Stranding 2. What handheld are you dailying these days? I still remember that one that you lent me when I was in San Francisco that time. That thing was huge. And I tried to do like, I was trying to play a retro game on it. And I remember the D-pad was just like the problem with that handheld. I was like, oh. I don't remember which one, but it was massive. I'm playing Sunderfolk. It is a good family-friendly D&D type game. That sounds cool. Reflexes aren't what they used to be. Chris, there are aids for that. There are things that can help you with that. That can help you with like you can play in basically story mode where there's a lot more time for your dodging and parrying. The window is a lot more open for that. Lenovo Legion S Go Steam OS version is my daily right now. Nice. Didn't they? Okay. No, I'm thinking about the MSI Claw, where it was previously Intel only, and now they have a Ryzen version of that. But yeah, Legion Go S is going to be the Ryzen one as well, right? I really need, you know, I was, who was it that was telling me that it was Jeff, Craft Computing, who was telling me, why don't you cover handhelds? You need to cover handhelds, dude. And I'm like, I guess they're pre-built. I'm also thinking like that space is well covered. Like the stuff I cover, nobody's really doing it. So, but the reason I want to cover it is because I like handheld, the whole thing about handheld PCs and all that. That's super cool. MSI Claw AMD version, not out yet. I saw the announcement for it though. Yeah, the Echo voice thing. Did it not work very well? Interesting. I didn't hear any problems with it. I love the Doom franchise. Some of the greatest games ever made, IMO. Oh, I mean, they're trend-setting games. I mean, they changed gaming. Original Doom changed gaming forever. As watching life has been busy. Oh, man, it's okay. It's all right. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So it's all good. Whenever it's the right time for you to come in and hang out, Nate, I'll be here. Unless it is a day other than Sunday, Tuesday, or Thursday. I need to get one of those emulators like you use so I can play some old Nintendo games. SNES 9X, SNES 9X. It is free. Now, when it comes to ROMs, that's the part where I have nothing to say. I have no opinion or source or, yeah. They are pre-built. Yeah, I know. What I should have done, the thing is, at the time, this was when I ran into him at, we also ran into each other at Computex as well, but at CES this year, I was at the ASUS booth. And but I was also about to talk to Linus for a bit at the ASUS booth then. So, but what Jeff told me was, hey, you should go to Lenovo right now. You should go say hi to those guys. And I should have told him, like, hey, if they're close by, take me and introduce me to whoever you talk to over there. Because like that makes things so much easier. There are times where even now, after I've been doing this for years and going to these things for years, it's still hard to find have them bring you the right person to talk to, the right person who will kind of get what I do and why numbers are a bit different for me. Because what other content creator are you going to compare me to? It's really weird. I play easy mode every time, no shame. I mean, yeah. The only thing I play in hard mode is like Metroid games or Metroid map randos and stuff. Yeah. Not many games I'll do in hard mode. Like I got nothing to prove to anybody. I just want to enjoy myself. I'm trying to let off stress. I'm not trying to add stress to my life. But yeah, Dodger, it's this. SNEX 9X. SNES 9X. Excuse me. That's what it is right there. That's the emulator right there. Now, of course, all of you out there only use ROMs for games that you own, of course. Emulate responsibly. Playing games on easy is underrated. 100%. Zeno, 100%. I'm too old to get sweaty playing games. I'm too old to get sweaty, honestly. I still manage sometimes, though. It's when I'm glad that they have CES in winter. Because it's like, here we go. I don't want to go to Vegas at any other time of year. Definitely owned them all. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, if you have the Nintendo Switch on the Nintendo Online account, you can use, I mean, you technically have the license to play, say, Super Metroid on the SNES player that they have. So that's licensed to play the game, maybe on other platforms. I don't know. One of the games I love is Warframe right now. I played Warframe for one stream. It failed to like capture me in the way that it captures players that it's well suited to. It wasn't really for me. Speaking of sweaty, you helped motivate me to get back into gymming more frequently. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been hard to go more than like once or twice a week. But yes, I am trying. We are doing it. We're doing the thing. Entirely fair. Yeah, Warframe is a vibe. That is a cool vibe. But it wasn't my vibe, you know? Mental health comes first, for sure. Have you gotten a Switch too? I have. Adam, on Sundays, I do gaming streams just on Twitch. And I've been lately doing, basically doing a playthrough of... I've already beaten Tears of the Kingdom like forever ago. But I've been doing a playthrough where I'm streaming on Twitch at 4K 60. And Twitch can do it. It's a 4K 60 stream on Twitch. It's crazy. But the game looks insane. It's like the resolution and frame rate it was meant to have. It was always meant to have. Yeah, Sam, I do not understand Warframe. Now, it was a cool game, though. Like, it was a unique game. I've got a buddy that plays it. Shy Flosion plays Warframe. But it wasn't my thing. I think I might have played with him, or I was playing with Cuddles at the time. One of the two. Maybe Cuddles. I think one of my major issues right now, and it's been for a while, is I miss having just a group of people that I game with. That's actually what got me into streaming in the first place. How I found you? Oh, because of Shy? Okay, yeah. Oh, no. Or was it Tears of the Kingdom? Are you talking about Tears of the Kingdom? I never get on Twitch. Not my vibe over there. It is a different vibe. Yeah. I personally like I personally prefer Twitch for streaming. I think there's things that YouTube does that don't make sense to me. Like the fact that I can't have custom emotes for people who are just subscribed, that they have to pay memberships. Twitch lets you do it. What's the deal? I can't give VIP. I can't give VIP to somebody. There's nothing like that for YouTube. Just things like that. I would join you in games. Most of the ones I play tend to be single player. Well, that's what I ended up doing, was mostly playing single player games. But I got started streaming because of GTA Online and the group of friends I played with. And one of them liked to stream. And I was like, this looks like fun for streaming. Let me start streaming video games so I can make an excuse to schedule gaming so I actually get time to game. Being a combat vet, I have to work around my triggers, hence easy mode or god mode. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. It's important to think about that. Dark Force, are you on the list? I don't see you on the list. Hold on. That's the wrong window, buddy. Yeah, the reason we're just hanging around and chatting right now, everybody, is because we haven't had anybody... We've already helped somebody out, but we haven't had anybody submit a new form after that. Yeah, Dark Force, I don't see you on the list. Oh, you're just showing that there are free emotes because of Twitch. I got you. I got you. I gotta say, we've helped a good number of people in 2025 so far. Look at this. We're at... So there's 200 entries in here. And I would say a good 70% of that is filled out. It's more that have been done than that have not been helped out. So yeah, we're doing good. No, I filled it out. If I do Control F and I put in dark, there is nobody with dark in their name on the list right now. So if you filled it out previously, but you used a different name, then you need to make sure that... but that's why, if you look at the form, the very first thing it shows with helpful pictures is that you... the name that you enter should match what shows up as your name in chat. And thus, I put a helpful photo here, a helpful screenshot. Two of them, really, that I put together, but... Yeah, Dark Force, I've never had someone who filled out the form and submitted it and that didn't show up here. That has not happened in the 2 years that I've been using Google Forms for this. Military brat myself. I thought, Adam, I think we've talked about that before. I think you've told me a little bit about the history of that. Yeah, I'll do it again. Okay. Oh, Adam, I should tell you. You would absolutely hate the way that I'm running my stream right now. You would not like it at all. It would make you angry. Well, actually, I think Addy would be more mad at me than anybody else. I should tell him. I should tell him how I'm running it. I'll tell him and see how he feels about it. Also changed to a Thermaltake AIO, and it has a screen. Nice. It might even be the same price as the... Well, no. Well, okay. The Arctic one is not that expensive, considering the thicker radiator and stuff, but it's not super cheap. So, yeah. Uh-oh, is it on a Mac? No. No, it's not. I'm not that far gone yet. Let's just say I'm running 2 different softwares right now for streaming. OBS and one other. And that other is, it's Meld. So here's what happened. There's a little story behind this, as we're waiting for Dark Force to fill out the form again. So, I don't know if you've heard of Meld, but Meld is basically it's a newer streaming software that is designed to make it really easy to get transitions like this one, like that, right? and effects and motion stuff and all that without having to add in plugins, things like that. And do I have that on right now? Let me see. Okay, just to get a little closer up. What happened was I was streaming on my Falcon Northwest PC. That thing has a 14900K that I got around launch time for 14th gen. That thing is cooked by the original microcode, and I had been using it since then. I need to replace my whole main PC. Like, I am dying to do that. Hopefully Core Ultra 200S, something like that, but whatever. So I had to transfer over to this other PC. This is one that I built around Black Friday. It was a collaboration with Skytech. It's an awesome PC, but it's not as powerful as my main one was. So I didn't want to move my whole OBS that I had built up for a couple of years over to it. It had way too much stuff going on. So I was like, okay, I saw that, Senpai Gaming, Harris Heller, had talked about Meld. I was like, let me give it a try. And it's cool. It is cool. It's very fast to set up. It is very, very fast to set up, but you can do a lot with it. But there are some really critical things still missing. And I've talked to them, and they're like, yeah, we're going to add that stuff. It's in the works. One of the main things it's missing, it has multi-streaming, but you can only set one bit rate. So I was running it at like 25K, 25,000 kbps, because of the more important quality setting is for YouTube, because those VODs are meant to stay on YouTube. So people can go back and watch them, see my methodology for making recommendations, all that stuff. And Twitch could not handle it. I had been streaming at 4K on Twitch for a while using OBS and a multi-streaming plugin. But because Meld only has the one bit rate that you can use, it wasn't working. Twitch was freaking out because I was slamming him with 25,000 kbps. Their maximum is still like 8,000. And so it just downgraded it to 720p. So now I had this bright idea, and I got to tell you, it's working great. I only send Meld to YouTube for my PC matchmaking streams, and I just use the virtual camera in Meld, the virtual webcam, to have everything in an instance of OBS that is streaming to 4K on Twitch. And streaming in 4K to Twitch, I should say. And it's working great. If you go look on Twitch right now, 2160p, 30 FPS. Dark Force, I see it now. There it is. Dropped a sub to your YouTube channel. Nice. It has been on hiatus for a little while looking for a new video editor. And then once we got that video editor, well, he lives in Jordan, so he had to step away for a while, take care of his family, make sure everything was safe. He's getting back to it now, and the mainline content is coming back. But yeah, let me show you real quick. Dark Force, we're going to do yours in a second. So this is Meld right here. Hold on, let me do this. And basically, if I want to, like all of these sources, I basically have to have them in every scene, and I just move them off screen because it has transitions, move transitions built right in. So let's say that, let's see, my main camera is here, right? But it's moved back and behind everything else. So that when I transition, that's not the transition I wanted. When I transition, it does that. And you'll notice that my desktop went up here. And it just all comes back. My other face cam, this is the Osmo Pocket 3, right? So I have it following me, and I can have a real tight shot on the face cam, right? And still be moving around and stuff. That just moves off to the right when I switch scenes. And that's it. It is super fast to set that up. So I don't know. I really like that. I guess you couldn't really see everything that was happening because I was switching scenes. But the basically, you make a new scene, you copy everything over basically, or you copy a scene and move everything around, and now you have a move transition. Super easy. What would you recommend for a beginner streamer? Let's say I know nothing about PC streaming. It's this program right here. Meld is very, very easy to make a sort of sophisticated looking thing. Like if we look at my webcam here, my face cam, I should say. I know this is very confusing. If you want to have curved corners, like if you want to have curves on it, that's it. That's all you have to do is that right there. That's it. Want to add effects? They're all right here. I'm a hologram now. It gives you some transparency, the cross lines going across it, and the blue color. So now I look like a hologram in Star Wars. There you go. Which is something that I do for a lot of when I'm transitioning stuff. Because I think that looks cool. So that's Meld, Adam. There you go. Now, if you plan on building up a really cool stream that you're going to use for a long time, like you're going to be streaming, you want to do it as a thing, like you want to become hopefully a professional streamer, just skip something like that and take the time to learn OBS. It's going to be worth it. OBS is not that hard to use. It's a 30-minute video and you'll be streaming. Does anyone else besides me have a Has-Been Hotel addiction? The soundtrack is 10 out of 10. The music was pretty good. I think we maybe watched like 5 episodes. It was pretty good. But it's really hard to get Ari to commit to watching a series. We're watching Squid Game right now. We're in the newer season now. Or we're about to start the latest season. Anyways, there you go. All right, so Dark Force, let's take a look at your build here. So you do live near a micro center, but you don't want to get your PC there. Oh, hey, Adam, they're in your area there. By the way, have you seen? Did you do the? I haven't seen if you guys made a video yet about it. Have you gone to the Santa Clara Micro Center yet? I honestly felt really bad that I wasn't able to go, so I avoided content based around the new Micro Center. Unfortunately, it's kind of petty of me. Looks like a cool piece of software. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and they're adding stuff to it all the time. What do you think of Squid Game so far? It's insanely good. Insanely good. Okay, so let me see. I've already ordered the Legatus 2.1 from about a month ago. I'm just waiting now. Oh, so what are we doing? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying earlier. If you're just gaming, you don't have to worry about the different motherboard. Please no Season 3 spoilers. Like I said, we haven't watched it yet. We're just about to start Season 3. We made 3 videos at the opening of MC. It was so fun. I can only imagine. I was so close to being able to do it. It's just that I, like, well, for Computex, you know, I had potentially 4 sponsors for... I was supposed to have 4 sponsors for Computex, but as you know, with all the tariff stuff and everything, I set these up way in advance. And with all the tariff stuff that was going on, I had 2 sponsors drop out. And it got to the point to where basically if my Computex stuff wasn't paid for, it was subsidized by sponsorship, essentially. I just couldn't afford to stay in San Francisco after that. Also, for some reason, I was perfectly able to extend my layover last year, and this time they wanted to charge me $400 to do it. It's crazy. So next time what I'll do is I'm just gonna have it be separate flights or something if I can make it cheap enough. They want to put an X870E Carbon. Well, I will say, Dark Force, the X870E Carbon is a fantastic motherboard, but that's if you are doing more than just gaming. You do not need that level of motherboard for a just gaming PC. So whatever's different between the 2 motherboards, you're going to have more than enough for a PC just meant for gaming. Really need to check out a Micro Center opening. Would love to experience it at least once in my life. I mean, got to keep track of that then. I think they're doing Arizona next. Maybe Phoenix. I think it's Phoenix. Yeah, but that did look like a fun opening. And I got to say, the outer aesthetic of the store is super cool. That it just looks like, yeah, like a bunch of like, I don't know, like townhomes or something like that. It's crazy. It looks cool. It is very stressful. I'm constantly asking myself, how cruel is this show going to be to these characters that I've come to like? And yeah, pretty bad. I wish Micro Center existed in my country. I feel you. I know. But if it helps at all, Zeno, for most Americans, Micro Center might as well be in another country because they're just that far away. And I mean, yeah, you can do a road trip. But if you do that road trip to go to Micro Center, any savings you would have gotten are gone because of the expense of the road trip. It's just, yeah. Okay, then thank you. I appreciate you filling out the form. I'll ask you this. Were you able to use code Braythorn to get $50 off? I know at this level, $50 might not seem like a lot. But hey, you know, actually, so yes, you did. Awesome. Happy to hear that. Because I mean, it's just a drop in the bucket, but it's free real estate. Why not? But going into Micro Center is like a kid in a candy store for us nerds. Yeah. I have my qualms with, I have my issues with Micro Center about certain stuff. Their compatibility filter is number one. Also, the fact that when you're doing a build on Micro Center, like you can click, you know, in stock at this store, and they'll still show you stuff that says 0 in stock. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? I didn't ask you to do that to me. That's not nice. Anyway, let me ask you, Dark Force, what is the color of cables you chose? Because, you know, with Alexander PCs, it includes custom cable extensions in the color of your choice. Or I wouldn't say custom. It's not like they're going to make a color combo for you, but they have a big library of colors that they add in there. Really, really nice, and that's a cool feature. For the longest time, nobody else was doing that and I don't think anybody else has it as a default thing except maybe Sick PCs. I think, or maybe Sick PCs charges for it. I don't remember. I'd have to check. But it's just cool that it's part of the deal. I mean, lifetime warranty ain't too shabby either. The pink soldiers are actually based on the ranks on an insect colony with their shapes. Okay, interesting. I like the fact that in season 2, you get to see a little bit more into what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't watched Squid Game though, but you should watch it if you like suspense drama stuff with elements of, I wouldn't say horror elements, but definitely like pretty emotionally traumatic stuff happens in that show. But it is fantastically done. I did have a Micro Center build just before COVID, and there was stuff that they had in stock that I wanted that was not online. That can happen too. I think they put more into the online builder when that got more coverage and such. Oh, also, Adam, I don't know if you've gotten to mess with this yet, but the Corsair finally allowed for this with their MMO mouse. Yeah. Now I have 3 Stream Decks at my display. Well, I have 4 because I have my audio one over here, the Plus. But no, the one I use for scenes over here, I've got that one. I've got the pedals for the main stuff that I do, and then there's this thing, which is just super cool. You have to get this mouse though. It's the Corsair Scimitar Elite Wireless SE, and then you have to have IQ installed on your PC for it to work, which sucks. They should have all of it integrated with just the Elgato Stream Deck software, but nope, it's an excuse to get IQ on your PC and sell your info. Is that Stream Deck buttons? Oh, buddy, you better believe it. Not using the pedals. Here, I'll move away from my pedals. Yeah, this has the MMO buttons on it. So like because I have to have my forward and back buttons for browsing. That's these 2 right here. And then I have my 3 main scenes. I have like a source thing here. So check this out. This one here. There you go. This is my main audio right there. If I need to mute it, I can do it right there in the mouse. This is one of the coolest things Corsair and Elgato have done ever, because it's just so fast and you got your hands on it already. It takes some getting used to, but one cool thing is that there is a little hex screw right here Hello. Right there. Can't really see it, but it's right there. There, where you can move this. You see that gap right there? This can move back and forth for depending on how you want your ergonomics to be. White Lean Lee trimmers and a white GPU. Nice. Just a stretch. Showing out of stock items makes it like a catalog. They have their SKUs in their system to order, sell them when available. DJ Simple Green, the thing is that Micro Center has an option just to show things that are listed but not in stock. That's a separate thing. But when you check in stock at this location, it should only be things that are currently in stock. That's really annoying that they do that, because I'll look at it, I'll get super excited, like, this is the perfect part. I'm so glad they have it. And then it shows very small underneath it, 0 in stock. And I'm just like, why are you like this? Agreed if filtered. Well, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. I think the aesthetic will have all my fans being red on my build. Yeah, like your name. I imagine that's a color for you, right? I'm gonna go do some chilling. Catch you later. You got it, Zeno. I'm glad we were able to go over your build. I think we made some good changes. I'm here because I don't have PC IQ. I got you. That's okay. Nobody has that knowledge by default, for sure. Yeah, season 2 is basically exactly how I would have made it. I really couldn't be more pleased with it. I will say there's one thing in season 2 that I called like at the beginning of the season, and it didn't get confirmed until like the last episode. And I was just like, I knew it. I knew it. That was too sus. I knew it. Yeah. And Ari was not impressed. She was just like, yes, I remember that you called that. Yeah. Because Micro Center likes to see the world burn. It is a joke, by the way. What's up, Slashing Avocado? How's it going? We got 43 people over in Twitch right now. Nice to see. 20 people on YouTube. Glad to have you all here. It's like I told you guys, we average from 60 to 75 people. It just shifts from one platform to the other somehow. A white Trikes panorama. That is a really nice AIO. It is expensive, but that caused a whole new trend with AIOs. iSkittle says, hey, are you able to rate a pre-built if I give you the specs? iSkittle, here's what you can do. There's an easy way to do this, okay? Here, check this out. Also, welcome to the stream. What's up? Do whatever works for you. I'm not a snob about that kind of stuff. I don't know how I missed that chat, but thank you for being understanding about that. I'm well planning a vacation in 2 weeks. Can't wait. Oh, that's exciting. That is exciting. Okay. So you see that form that I brought up there, iSkittle. The thing is, I can't really tell you how good a pre-built is unless I know what you're trying to do with it, because good what is subjective, right? Like if you're trying to edit video and it's got 16 gigs of RAM, that is not good. But if you're just trying to do 1080p gaming, then that might be okay. That might be fine. That kind of thing. So this form is going to make you show me, like, it's not just going to be like, oh, how much money you got? Cool, here's a pre-built. It's going to ask you specific questions. Now, the other side of that is at the end of the form, and I'll show you this here, if you have a PC part picker list or a website for the pre-built that you got, okay, I want you to put the link for that here on the last question, where it asks you for whether you're interested in getting your PC from a specific company. It then goes on to say, if you have a link to a PC part picker list, please share it here. That also works if it's a pre-built, like if it's a Skytech pre-built or iBuyPower or whatever. Put the link to the direct link to that page in here. Or if you made a PC part picker list, put that in here. What's up, Peter? Yeah, and the 7-inch screen where the rear exhaust fan goes. That is a cool thing that Alexander PCs does. Always like to see it. And how you holding up? Avocado, I'm good. I'm pretty good. I'm trying to get caught up with certain things. There's a lot going on. It's almost like I normally know what I want to talk about in videos. Now that I'm getting back to making main YouTube content, because it's been on hiatus for a while, for lack of an editor and then for other things going on. And I mean, I edit too, but I mean, it's just like with everything else going on as well. But anyway, whatever. That was the lamest explanation of that I've ever given. Regardless, now that I'm getting back to making it, I'm trying to figure out how to even start talking about pre-builds and SIs again. It's like, there's so much that's happened and that is happening and stuff that's still up in the air. Because now we're looking at August 1st. More tariffs. Oh, cool. How'd that work out before? That worked out super good. That's great. Kids, keep them coming. Sorry, I had to channel my inner Bill Burr for that one. There we go. That's a little better. It's cutting off the top of my coconut. That's not okay. Super T30, what's up? Used MSI Center to download latest BIOS. I know preferred method is USB. Is that really a huge deal? No. USB for BIOS is what you need if you're going to do it without using the BIOS or OS or like your MSI Center thing to do it. Yeah, that's if you like need to use the BIOS flash button, the BIOS flashback or whatever you want to call it. Because you can actually, on motherboards that feature the BIOS button on the rear I/O of the motherboard, you can update your BIOS from a USB drive without a CPU or RAM in the system. That's when you use USB and it's not just preferred, that's how you have to do it. If you're doing it through BIOS, then yeah, you need it on a USB drive. You need to have it on some kind of storage drive, right? If MSI Center is going to handle it for you, sure. Just make sure, if you have the option to do so, that you, first off, make sure there's not a thunderstorm going on. But also, if you have an uninterruptible power supply, a UPS, make sure you're on that. Because if you lose power during a BIOS update, you might break your motherboard. Bergie5, what's up? I'll hydrate, sure. I haven't drank much of my lemonade, and it's delicious. Is there a really good recovery software to recover certain files that might be nice to pay for? Would be nice to pay for? I mean, there's a lot of options for that. I don't really just get different versions of that and review them. The last time I really had to scrutinize things like backup software, recovery stuff, all that was back when I was doing sysadmin stuff. And that was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So I'm not caught up with like the latest software. Just submitted my form. Thank you. Let's take a look. I'll go ahead and mark this one green. I'm just going to put approved. There we go. On that one, because I mean, they didn't really need to, I guess, I don't know. It's hard to say. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, first, we're going to take a look at what your actual use case is. It's just gaming at 1080p. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Budget $500 to $1,000. Okay. You are near a Micro Center, but you're not getting your PC from there. So that's, and this is on newegg.com. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you this. So you've already purchased this. Is that correct? No. There's nothing to roast here. I have my comments about it, but there's nothing to roast here. It's okay. And Peter, if someone, the thing is, I don't want to shame somebody that doesn't have the knowledge that I've gathered over the years. Like that's like, if something looks like a good deal and they have the foresight to be like, let me ask someone who knows a little more about this stuff if they think it's a good deal. We don't shame that, Peter. We don't do that here. It's just if they like ignore stuff in the forum that's like, hey, just, take your time and all that. That's, maybe a little bit of that. But I want people to feel welcome. And I want people to, I don't want to punish someone for doing the right thing and asking questions. I deleted something by accident and I have to recover it. That is a tough one. There are services that can help you with that. Data recovery services can help you with that. But that's more if like a whole drive has been damaged and you want to recover the whole thing. I'm waiting for the stock to come back because it's been in and out for me. iSkittle, let me ask you something. I know this thing says $5.99, and that is appealing. I know that's appealing, right? But this is originally they call this PC worth $1,000. It's not really, but regardless, like there are some big downsides to this. But what I want to know is this: what is your maximum budget for your PC? Like the maximum amount of money dollars you can spend on just the tower itself before taxes and shipping. I have an ABS computer and the motherboard has issues and I'm currently saving up for a new PC. I'm going to get to the ABS Newegg thing. We're going to get to that. I'm not on that part just yet. I would say $750. Okay. That's a tough budget, but I'm going to say this. If you have the option, if your two options are either Newegg or Micro Center, every single time the answer should be Micro Center. Every single time. And there's a major reason for this. Okay, it's a very logical reason too. You get with my thoughts on Newegg aside, putting those aside, any PC that you have to have shipped to you, if you have issues they can't fix remotely, you have to ship it back. And generally, after the first 30 days or 60 days, you pay for that shipping, unless it is stated that they pay for the shipping back to you or whatever. Okay, you'll still pay some of the shipping. And not only that, when you're doing that, you are subjecting your investment of a PC to the rigors and risks of our wonderful shipping industry. Now, if you have a close by Micro Center and you have an issue with your PC, you put it in your car and you drive it over there and you're like, fix it, please. It won't take weeks to get back. And it's just you're not subjecting it to the risk that comes with shipping a PC. I've shipped PCs. It's a scary thing. So why don't you tell me what Micro Center location you are nearby? Because even now, regardless of the whole thing about Newegg versus Micro Center, all that stuff, or third-party retailer versus Micro Center, I have some reservations when it comes to buying a whole PC from Micro Center. Specific components, sure. Like if you can't find it anywhere else, and you can find it on Newegg. I'm talking about Newegg, not Micro Center. Did I say Micro Center earlier? I meant Newegg. I have my issues with shopping with Newegg, not Micro Center. Micro Center is usually fire. Like they're great. Not that they ship much stuff. It's usually in-store only. But my issues with Newegg. They have been caught red-handed, blatantly taking advantage of people and scamming people, including scamming Steve of Gamers Nexus. And then when he went to California and pinned them to a wall, he got an hour and a half of corporate responses. Now, because of this attention that was on them, they've been on their best behavior for a couple of years now. That's not going to last forever. They still hire corporate-minded people to run this corporation. Of course they do. They're supposed to do that. Okay? But, yeah, if you're just getting a couple parts or something, that's you using Newegg. That's you taking advantage of them, not them taking advantage of you. But a whole PC, I would not do it. I would not get a pre-built from Newegg. Like, not ever. So what we're going to do, you're closest to the Tustin Micro Center. When you say closest, how close is that? Because there aren't any other ones near that unless you go all the way up to like the Bay Area. So let's see what Micro Center has for $750. I've always appreciated how fair your roasts are. Thank you. Appreciate it. About an hour and a half drive. That might be worth it still. Maybe. But you're still enjoying your 8-bit do. Which, are you talking about the handheld retro gaming console thing? Or the controllers? Because I have like 3 controllers from them. All right, we're going to see what they've got in this price range. That's a pretty tight budget, but we'll see what we can do. We're going to look at PCs, gaming PCs, and look on that. Okay, they start at $750 apparently. One thing to remember, and this is something that happens. What was going on was, I think that there were multiple. I know I'm zoomed in. I'll zoom out when I find something. But the controllers, every one of them is peak. I've got the Pro 2. I have the Ultimate 2. I got that when I got the Switch 2, and it is excellent. Okay, so because Amazon had Amazon Prime Day, every other third-party reseller, like a big website, of course, Amazon had their thing, so then Newegg had to have their own. Oh, it's running through the 11th too? That's crazy. So this kind of deal it's sold out, and it's not going to come back at the same price when they bring it back. That was a very brief thing. They have deals like that, though, where they'll have a certain number of them, but it's designed to get you on the site, and then where you'll buy something else if they run out of those things, right? So Micro Center, like, it's going to be, you can't really match that. We would have to look at a $1,000 computer, because that's the pricing that they're looking at here. One thing to remember is right now, a lot of things are still inflated in price based on a lot of the stuff that was coming in during the active tariffs and stuff. That's the stuff that's on the shelves right now. Even if the tariffs were paused, well, that wouldn't affect anything other than, it wouldn't affect any of the stuff that was purchased by distributors during tariffs. Open box. I don't know if it's going to show open box here. Here, I got another idea. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, none of these are better. The problem with a deal like this is that it creates an unrealistic expectation. This is a good system, to be clear. Okay, for $600, Ryzen 5 5500, 6 cores, 12 threads, right? RTX 5060. And you can complain as much as you want about 8 gigs of VRAM and yada yada yada. But for a $600 computer and for a 1080p gaming machine, that's fine. That is fine. 32 gigs of DDR4. DDR4 just got real expensive. So this is something right here. And a full terabyte of storage. That is an M.2 NVMe drive. This is a solid PC for that price. The problem is you're just not going to get it at that price. This was probably a deal to fight against Amazon Prime Day stuff, and it's probably going to come in at higher than this. So that creates an unrealistic expectation, because if this is a $1,000 computer to them, I can actually see it being $1,000 with current price inflation, which I didn't think about. When I first said they call this $1,000, it's not really worth that. It might be with the current market. Having sort of reconsidered that. But I was looking here for power spec stuff, and no, I didn't mean to remove that. We actually need that. Oh, come on. Seriously? Hold on a second. They have a $900 PC here. That's crazy, because that was once $1,700. 8700F and a 5060, 16 gigs of DDR5. What? How was this originally $1,699? with those specs. Hold on. This is a side thing. Okay. I just, first off, this is a $900 PC with a $165 case. Well, no, maybe actually, no, this looks like a copy of, this is not the Evolve X2. This is a copy of the Evolve X2. Hold on. It doesn't say the case. Yeah, that's not the Fantex case. This is a blatant ripoff of the Evolve X2, it looks like. But those specs, 16 gigs DDR5, single stick of RAM, right? Is that what that is? A 5060 and an 8700F. With 2 terabytes of storage, yeah, but $900, man, that's crazy. That's a weird, what a weird PC. Okay, anyway. It looks cool, but it's fine. Imitation, highest form of flattery, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Let me see something here. I know you said you wanted a black PC, but I want to consider this one here real quick. What, a 3070, really? Too bad the airflow on those is not good. Okay. What else did you say here? Yes, you do want to be able to upgrade your CPU down the line. Okay. That Ryzen 5 5500, it is on a dead platform. It's on socket AM4, and yeah, they keep releasing CPUs for it. But yeah, if you bump up your budget by a little bit, because you said $750, this one is $810, and it's a Ryzen. It is an. Let's see, it's a Ryzen 5 7600X. The GPU is an AMD Radeon RX 7600, which competes with the 4060, 5060. It's in that range. 16 gigs DDR5 6000. 16 gigs. But it is DDR5 instead of DDR4. 1 terabyte SSD. Let's take a look at this thing. A better look at it. 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. RX 7600 graphics card. 16 gigs DDR5. I'm going to check something really quick. I got this. Hold up. I know I'm zoomed in still. Sorry, my bad. That's the PC right there. Okay. 1 second. $7,600 is right there with the 4060. We don't have 50 series in here yet. They really haven't updated this with 50 series? Yeah. But it's equivalent to a 4060. And the whole thing about the 5060 is that it's not a big step up over the 4060. So it's going to be very similar performance, which should average anywhere around 80 to 85 FPS in pure rasterized performance. But the thing is, you do have massive upgradability with this motherboard because that is socket AM5. Because on the forum, you chose yes when I asked, do you plan on upgrading your CPU over time? On socket AM4, yeah, they're still releasing CPUs for it, but I mean, they shouldn't be at this point. Yeah, they have that power spec as an open box for $728.96. Branded case knockoffs that do it better than the original, in my opinion, no. I tend to usually go for the originals if possible. My gripe on it isn't the VRAM on it. It's a Ryzen 5 5500. My problem is that tends to hinder PCIe Gen 4 on it. Yeah, I mean, there's issues all over this PC. I wouldn't even know where to start. So, I mean, I did, but where does it say open box? 2 new in store. Brooklyn store. I'm looking at Brooklyn. Hold on. I've been looking at the wrong store the whole time anyway. Let's see if this one's in stock there. Yeah, they got a lot of these, but we're going to back up and we're going to go back to gaming PCs. I got to redo this, basically. That's my bad. I didn't change the store location. Okay. But they at least have that one still. 12th gen, 14th gen. No. Here we go. There's the one. Now, where's the, let's see, include, not out of stock. Open box, 2. They do have one, 728. And they have a 14th gen one, and then they have that. Now, this one has the 5060. This one has the RX 7600. So, chat, I find myself with a bit of a conundrum. Because the 7600 is going to have the previous version of FSR. It's not FSR 4. It's not the more upgraded version of ray tracing, though. I mean, with a PC at this level, you're going to want to turn off ray tracing on most of your games anyway. But 5060, that does have DLSS 4. They both have the same amount of RAM, 16 gigs DDR5 6000. They both have the 1 terabyte NVMe drive. But the difference is the platform. One of them is 14th gen Intel. The other is the difference is a platform and the GPU, right? The other difference is a platform now. One of them is 14th gen Intel. That has reached end of life. And also 14th gen, that had issues. But it has the 5060. This other one here has the RX 7600. Same amount of VRAM, but the 5060 does outpace the 7600 a little bit. I would say still go with this one. I would say to go with this one. They have one open box there at Tustin of this PC right here for $728.96. This is, other than the amount of RAM that it has, which you can upgrade RAM pretty easily later on. This is a superior PC, in my opinion, to the Newegg one. And again, if you have any issues with it, you're not going to ship it off and wait for weeks. You can just drive it, it's driving an hour and a half to drop it off, but you can take it right to them to get it fixed. So unfortunately, I won't be able to get the other one for $600, but that would be a good price for that PC. I think so, yes. Remaining manufacturer warranty applies. Available in-store only. See warranty and support for details. So you can reserve the open box. So yeah, but I'm going to send this to you like this. Basically, what will happen is this. If you go over to Micro Center to buy this, be prepared to spend the $809.99 if someone already has bought the open box. That could happen. They have one in stock. You can never guarantee stock of open box stuff, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and link you this. I think that this is a superior product to the Newegg one. Yeah. Now, I will say there is a Newegg office in Southern California, but that doesn't mean that's where they handle RMAs necessarily. I think it might be. I'm not sure, though. Can't guarantee that. There you go. Now, if they don't have that one, you can look at the other one. That is the 14400F. Generally i5 stuff and not necessarily the KSQ i5s can be great for gaming in general. If it's not like super high frame rate stuff where, let me get just 5600X 3D or 7600X 3D or whatever, right? But the 7600X is just as good in terms of gaming, if not a little bit better. Depends on the game. I really don't have the charts in front of me to just tell you definitively, but it's not going to be that visible of a difference. I would say the biggest difference also is going to be the upgradability and then the GPU. So 7600, the Radeon 7600 is going to be solid for 1080p gaming. The 5060, has better AI stuff going on with upscaling, things like that. If you are worried about that, but I would just prefer not to put you on 14th gen Intel at this point. Squid Game pork wontons right now. Is that a thing? John asked earlier, sorry, John, do you think sellers are going to keep their adjusted prices for tariffs when tariffs are listed to inflate the market more? They might, and I don't see how we could verify whether or not, that's the thing. There's a reason that when I talked about tariffs a while back, I said even when they put a pause in it, there would be ripples that would be going for months. It's not going to clear up for 6 months, and even then there's going to be some lingering effects. Basically at this point, I couldn't prove this, but it seems like they're just playing the stock market. But at this time, it's actually not really working out the way they want it to. Whenever they announce tariffs, stock market drops. They go, they buy a bunch of stocks, they pull back on the tariffs, stock market goes back up, they sell the stocks, they make a ton of money. Okay? It's been going on for a while now, guys. A while, since January. Okay? They've been doing this. Like, anyway. But this time, when he announced this thing about August 1st tariffs, it's happening, everybody. Woo, be scared, stock market. Get ready to buy. Get ready to buy. And the stock market was just like, yeah, whatever. Taco. And he's like, I ate a taco salad once. I took a picture of it. Zinta. Oh, wait. When I get my new PC, I feel like I will make my mind up for what I want. I do gaming here and there, but AMD Ryzen 9900X seems nice. But so does the Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. I don't know. I used to like sort of the lower level Ryzen 9s. I had a 3900X for a while. That was actually from the PC that I bought when I started SI Weekly. That started that whole thing. It was a 3900X because I wanted to edit video on it. But now I don't like it in 9000 series because you end up with a 6-core CPU once you turn on a game. It's a 9600X at that point. Exactly. Playing the market. What's up, BC Murray? How's it going? But yeah, that's what's going on. It's like clockwork now. It is like clockwork. They're doing this. But unfortunately for them, and fortunately for everybody else, they're not tanking the stock market anymore because Taco. They're calling his bluff, basically. And it's not just the stock market here. It's the global economy. It's just like, yeah, whatever. We all saw how that went. Just shut up already. Thank you very much for all the information. One last question. How upgradable is the CPU on my Newegg PC? I did address that, iSkittle, already. It's a dead platform. Socket AM4 went on way longer than anyone expected. But the only way you can upgrade is within the same generation. 5000 series Ryzen. And those are becoming less and less available. So not very upgradable. Like, you would need to upgrade it really soon, basically. Because I don't think they're producing... Other than the new CPUs they've come out with, I don't think they're producing 5000 series anymore on a lot of the main ones that they had. What's up, Will? How's it going? Electrothermal, Scariest, Cheeto Man. I don't know who you're talking about. I take it the software that lets the mouse do those features works with, say, a Logitech mouse with a similar button layout. John Paul Bacon, it does not. It is specifically this one mouse right here. It is specifically the Corsair Scimitar Elite Wireless SE. Because it's Corsair owns Elgato. So if you want it to work with Stream Deck software, Corsair's like, that's our software technically. So you have to have IQ and an Elgato Stream Deck. Well, I mean, I guess you could just use the Stream Deck software without having an actual Stream Deck. So you have to have the mouse, install IQ, install the Elgato Stream Deck software, then you can use it. Yeah, guys, I know I brought up, like, I'm talking about economics right now. I'm trying not to make it political. They unfortunately made it that way, and it's hard to avoid it. But let's not get too much into the weeds on that. Tame, yes, that was Adam. I don't know if Adam's still hanging out. But you know, who knows? That's the thing, guys. Like, I worry that, like, because you know they've been gracious enough to have me on the Full Nerd a couple times, and that was so much fun. It was a super fun time. But I need to like make sure that I don't bring up something like that if I'm on there. I would worry about that. It's a bigger audience, you know, yada yada, you know. But yeah, FGN, what's going on? Welcome. Sorry, Bray. Just wanted to know about when the best time to buy is. That is impossible for me. At this point, it's already kind of hard to predict that kind of thing. But at this point, like, all bets are off when it comes to when it's the best time to buy. I will say that right now is probably a really good time to buy. Not because of good pricing, but because things are going to... not because it's better right now, but because it's going to get worse, I guess. And that is 100% going to be 100% NVIDIA's fault. Current reporting states that NVIDIA is talking about slowing production for a dual purpose, essentially. It's going to help them increase production for their AI stuff that makes them 10 times more money than, or like, no, more like 20 times, 30 times more money than GeForce does. I don't know, something like that. GeForce is like, I don't know, 5% of their gross revenue, something like that. And also they are trying, like right now, if you go to a Micro Center or you go online to shop for GPUs, you can buy them. People aren't buying many 8 gig GPUs right now, like we all expected. They're sitting on the shelves. And what are companies going to do when product sits on the shelves? They're going to be like, well, all right, I guess we're going to put them on sale. The last thing NVIDIA will allow is for you to pay less than they want you to. They ain't having that. I want to remind you guys, I've said this before many times. There are good people that work at NVIDIA. But it seems like the people who come up with the pricing are not those people. Completely out of touch. Regardless. So what they're planning on doing is forcing scarcity. They have openly, Jensen himself has openly admitted in a shareholder call that became public, that went public, that it's like, yeah, we're just going to control the market to get pricing under control. We're going to create scarcity. It's market manipulation, but it's entirely legal. You'll be fine, don't sweat it. I found your channel because of PC World collab. Oh, nice. Was that the one when I came back from Computex last year when I was on site over there? That was cool. That was cool. Or it was the video that we made over there, maybe. Because we had a video where I was talking about SI versus... what is it? Oh, my God. OEM. OEM versus SI. What's up, or Chaos? How's it going? After these days, as we approach the holidays, the prices might go up. Well, yeah, it's also the forced scarcity thing that they're doing. Onweir, what's going on, buddy? How are you? I'm going to have work for you real soon, by the way. I'm trying to figure out how to approach bringing back regular content because it's like, where do I even start? I was talking about this earlier. It's like, what do I focus on? There's so much nonsense going on. I saw both. Nice. Nice. Yep, NVIDIA are masters of controlling their product price. Yep. NVIDIA should just make GeForce a sub-branch like how AMD did for Radeon. Well, AMD didn't do that for Radeon. It's just that AMD acquired Radeon from ATI. And I think they kind of kept it separate. Unless I missed something in the years following their acquisition of ATI Radeon. Yeah, so I mean that they wanted graphics, and that's just how they approached it. They just like, okay, we're gonna compete in this market. We're just gonna buy those guys out. That was a long time ago. Holy crap! More demand and less product means higher prices. It makes sense, but also not very nice to consumers. But great for shareholders. And y'all have to remember, a publicly traded company is their purpose, their goal, and their purpose is to make money for their shareholders. That's not unique to NVIDIA. NVIDIA's worth $4 trillion now, which is crazy. Yep. And it's funny because you know what? It's not even private companies anymore that most of their money is going to be coming from. It's going to be full-on governments. Governments are trying to figure out how to utilize AI in order to do government things. And they have a lot of money. The governments have all the money. So, yeah. Man, I'm good, but it's been hectic here. Still trying to catch up on things we'll talk about. Absolutely. I'll reach out to you. Speaking of shareholders, did you hear about the Schedule 1 investigation? No? I did not. NVIDIA cares about consumers, lol. They only care about the line go up and answering their shareholders' greed. Well, it's capitalism. You just explained capitalism. Line go up. Yep, AI is the wave, sadly. AI is the tsunami. And, well, it's more like it's more like just like melting ice caps, rising water levels. It's not going away. Defense budgets and unmanned drones. Well, yeah, I mean, it's all there. All of that. Publicly traded company. Yep. Less demand and less product equals higher prices. More, less equals higher prices. Less, more equals what? Equals lower prices. More supply, less demand. Which is what's happening right now. We have supply, and people aren't interested in a lot of their products. Or they just can't afford them. So it's sitting on the shelves. That's what I was explaining earlier, which is like it's always supply and demand. That is a core concept for economics, right? And NVIDIA plays it like you know, they play that. They play that game. That's the best thing about Squid Game is the capitalism things. Yeah, it's pretty depressing, honestly. It happened a while ago when the game got popular. Some game producer in EU tried to investigate the dev of Schedule 1, but it was because if they didn't, an investigation wouldn't have happened to the production company because they're publicly traded. It's not that deep of a rabbit hole, but it is interesting. Investigate them for what? It's a game. Wait, who cares? What did they do? I'll have to look into that. I'm curious now. Use of UI and plot. So they stole it from somebody or what? I mean, that's the thing. There's copies of all kinds of games. But yeah, plagiarism? Okay. Interesting. There's a lot of times where, I mean, if it's blatant copyright infringement, that's something. But there's a lot of times where you can kind of make your own version of something, and if it turns out to be more successful than whatever you copied, that happens. That does happen. That wouldn't be the only time that's ever happened. I mean, look at Fortnite versus PUBG, right? Or any battle royale. Like, good Lord. Like PUBG. Well, Pal World took elements from a lot of different games. And Nintendo was like, hey, you can't capture an animal in a ball, or you can't throw a ball and have an animal come out. And Pal World's like, all right, bet. Okay, we won't do that. The Nintendo thing was, they wanted to sue them over patents that had not been approved yet. They were like, hey, they're copying us. Well, yeah, there's no patent for this. Okay, well, guess what? We applied for them. Like 25 of them. One got approved. Oh, crap. And then they just changed that one thing that they're like, all right, you know what? You're right. Yeah, we won't. They can't throw a ball and have the animal come out now. There you go. I played Pal World. It was fun as hell. It was more fun than Pokemon. Patent pending on every infomercial I saw growing up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And while I will say Pal World was a little bit buggy here and there, it was nothing compared to Scarlet and Violet's bugs. Nothing. And then you had base building and all this kind of stuff. It was a lot of elements from a lot of different games. And who's to say you can't just take a bunch of things that you like from different games and make one game out of that? Look at Destiny using fan art in production without paying for or modifying it. That, like, guys, it's a lot of this stuff happens with a lot of game developers. What was that one game that took someone's actual original art, like copywritten art, and just put it in their games? Their new game. It was that new game that came out where they did that. It was some weird name. It was The Something or something like that. Microsoft Windows seemed to copy Apple operating system 30 years ago. Yep. I'm reading that on Windows 11 operating system in a window. Yeah. And Apple Xerox. Yep. Nintendo's so scummy. If Nintendo made a first-person shooter, they tried to sue id Software for Wolfenstein 3D retroactively. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. It was a shooter game. What was that? Let me see. Let's see. All I came up with stuff about AI art. That's not what it is. I'm not searching about AI art. What are you talking about? If I could remember the name of the game, but that's what I'm searching for, basically. No, I'm not. It's not coming up. Thought it was Destiny. No, that's fan art. That's like fan-made art. This was an actual artist. It was some new game that was from what dev was it? Whatever. The day before or something copied Division's assets. I don't think that was it. The company is fantastic. And that's the problem, is like this stuff is so prevalent that I try to search for a very specific situation. Marathon. Marathon's the one I'm thinking about. Marathon. That's the one. Been recent controversy where it was revealed that designs from an independent artist known online as Anti-Real were used in the upcoming Marathon game without her permission or credit. That's the one. It's Bungie, yeah. And then the thing is, they're like, oh, it was a former contractor, and they always go for that. A contractor. They don't work here. Included these unauthorized assets in the game's alpha build. But the thing is, they take the aesthetic and they use it everywhere. They then copy that artist's whole style and they use it everywhere. What can you do about that? What recourse does an artist have when someone's like, you copped my whole ish right there? That's me. That's my thing. Like, your whole aesthetic is me, and y'all didn't even like drop me a like. What the hell? Yeah. Yeah, there's like no getting around that. And yeah. And that artist is just like screwed, right? But the thing is, there is the public opinion, the court of public opinion. And they got hammered for that one. And that's when they tried to start using ablative armor, just like shedding responsibility, right? Like, that's where they're like, former contractor, we don't know that fool. Hey, just turn your PC off. They're tracking you. And it's an alpha build, and then we develop the whole style off of that, and we're not changing it. We will give them $5. Do you like us again? How about that Halo, though? Xerox decided to open up their patents and never built any of their inventions, like the mouse. Bergie, one of my favorite things is hearing about how the original company that first invented the digital camera was Kodak. And the leadership there was like, yeah, this will never take off. We make gallons of money with film. That's never going to stop being used. Forget the digital. That's too clunky. No one's going to use that. It looks terrible. And it's not like technologies can, like, I don't know, develop. Get it? Develop. See, guys, I made a joke because we make film. Yeah, they would have owned the world had they just followed through with that. And now they're nothing. They're nothing. Kodak is a nothing company now compared to where they used to be. They were worth so much money when film was a thing. But yeah, Alucard, thank you for bringing up Marathon. That's the one I was thinking about, and I could not remember the name because it's like it's not a name that stands out. It's like marathons are just a thing where people are like running, and then they'll like throw water on their face, and then they keep running like for a really long time. This is messed up. Got to cut the losses. Reminds me of Nokia. Yeah, this isn't a Fiverr conversation. Oh no, oh no. Unless you add a lot of zeros to the end of it. That's what they should do. It's like, all right, you know what? Give me 20%. If it's your whole aesthetic, I want 20%. Oh, wait, the game's not selling well? All right, just give me a few million. That Marathon live stream after it all blew up in their face was hilarious. I wouldn't want to be the person responsible for Bungie and Sony PR. I don't think I could ever be in public relations. I would just be just too mad at the people making bad decisions like that. That's hilarious. I heard that Kodak did not want to build a digital camera because of all the money they would lose on Kodak paper. Yeah. But like the technology was emerging. Forget it. Yeah. I like the old Marathon. Played on Macintosh. Actually, they are free on Steam now. Really? I don't remember that. I never played that one, I guess. Oh boy. All right. What time is it? 11:32. Anybody gonna y'all go for like I've got nobody waiting in the forum right now. If you need any help, now's the time. I got to help out 3 people. That's cool, but one I barely helped out. I was just like, yeah, the build is good. You're fine. Okay. All right. Kodak walks so Sony and Canon could run. Oh yeah. Kodak walks so Sony and Canon could run. Oh, that's my stream. Sorry. Funny thing is, Kodak actually invested in digital camera R&D and didn't pursue it. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah. They had they developed it. Yeah. I just want an H9 flow. Should I swap out my old Rose wheel? That's awesome, dude. Congrats. That's very cool. It's a nice case. Yes, swap out your stuff for sure. Yeah, congratulations. All right, guys. Friend of the channel, Coalition Chris, is currently playing Portal 2 with other friend of the channel, Has Agent. We're going to raid Chris. I don't get many opportunities to raid him. You know, he comes in here. He's super cool, super friendly. So let's go drop a raid. I want y'all to drop some Bray raids in the chat, if you will. Let's go ahead and do that. And Saturday, we should have an unboxing stream, unless something... and I'm trying to unless something unplanned occurs or whatever, barring unforeseen circumstances is the term I'm looking for. So we're gonna be doing that on Saturday, probably starting at 6 p.m. Central. So I hope to see you then. But yeah, we're gonna raid Coalition Chris right now. So don't go and ruin the surprise there if you don't mind. All right, guys, I'll catch y'all on Saturday. If not, I'll see you Sunday on Twitch only for a gaming stream. Until then, take care.
Let's go, nerds!